an SOB edition, Buckley, Ortner, and Sook, by saying a special happy birthday to our dear host. It is Isaac Ropp's birthday. As much as we have laughed at your fourth strain of COVID, we do wish you a very, very happy birthday.
I just sent him a text and said, happy birthday, you magnificent bastard. Sorry that you lead the league in COVID, but love you and appreciate you for miles. It is great that for his birthday, he got another positive COVID test.
Maybe it's the present he always wanted.
He says he's feeling a little better.
Okay.
So he's still hacking and coughing. And I do appreciate that he gave this one. Hey, I've bounced back a little bit. What do you think? I tested positive and I'm still coughing. I'm like, what do you mean? What do I think?
I think HR thinks you keep your ass at home.
Yeah, and the boss texted him and was like, sorry, dude, you have to have a negative test. Rob was like, oh, yeah. Come back in and give me your cat AIDS. That's what I want.
I feel like that's the...
For your birthday, I would like you to give me cat AIDS.
That's kind of like...
away.
But that's like fake valor. I feel like that's a fake flex, right? Because he knows that he's not allowed to. So him being like, I might push through. Really? Yeah. Really? That's going to happen?
I do that whenever the BTJ is doing house chores that I know she wants me to have no part of whatsoever. Like, hey, baby, you want me to help? I know what that answer is. No, seriously, I got that as I'm laying on the couch. No, honey, just leave that right there. I'll get, okay, great, yeah. We all have done that. That's old hat. He's a wily vet. He knows what he's doing.
See, I get caught in the deadly loop of, here, let me do that for you, and then it just doesn't take as long when I do it. And then so it happens faster when she does it, but then on the backside, if I stop doing it, then it's like, well, I'm always the one who does it. Well, because you don't let me do it because I don't do it fast enough.
I appreciate that there's just a game that after a while that we all play where it's like when I'm doing something outside and she offers to help, or if I have to go run, like we changed out our Bronco top, right? We have the hard top and the soft top.
Right.
And there's always this like general like, hey, do you need some help? I know the good and damn well that she doesn't want and isn't willing to really go out and help. But if I pressed it, I was like, yeah, actually, I could see the look on her face, but I appreciate it's the same thing with me being like, do you want me to fold some laundry?
Yeah.
No, you don't want me to fold laundry. And to be honest with you, I don't want you out there dealing with the top because it's only going to lead to me getting frustrated, you getting mad at me and then storming off. Just you go inside. I'll head outside and we'll convene later for some sweet, sweet love. It works better that way, but you still have to play the dance.
Yeah, I had one of those that happened today. We're installing a new car seat as our little one gets a little bit bigger. My wife had already installed hers in her car, and she's like, hey, let me know if you need any help with that one. I did it. It was pretty easy. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I got it. I've installed 2 or 3 car seats before. I'm thinking it's no problem. But then I hit a snag with this one and, how it jives with my car or whatever, and I call upstairs. So I'm like, hey, babe, can you unlock your car so I can see what's going on like with yours? And she's like, it should be open, but okay. I get the and then it's not quite working. I'm like, hey, so do you know where that lever is that changes that thing? And it's like, I say, hey, could you come down here and look? And she's like, I'm trying to do stuff in the kitchen. I'm like, you told no. You told me, let me know if you need any help. I'm letting you know.
That's the point, Buck, is you're not playing the game. You ass. This is like if she says she doesn't want a present. Yes, she does. You're not playing the game. The offer to help is not as sincere. It's like an invitation. It's like,
ooh, an invitation.
Oh, yeah. The invitation is absolutely a real thing. When someone finds out that you're having like a soiree or whatever, and you're like, oh, yeah, do you want to come? Look, if we wanted you to be there, we would have invited you. And now that's an invitation, okay? You know as well as I. And so don't accept the invitation. When someone uninvites you, just accept the fact, and your appropriate response is in playing the game is, oh yeah, don't worry, I can't make it anyways. And then you assuade both sides of guilt.
Sure.
Don't be the person that's like, oh yeah, I'd love to come. No, you ass. They don't want you there.
So I shouldn't accept my wife's help when she offers it?
No, you know when it's real versus when it's not. And if you don't, that's on you.
Life is so complicated in your guys' eyes. Like, I don't understand what's going on
That's
here.
because you're young and dumb and you haven't approached this yet. But one day you will understand. Go ask your dad. I promise you. I just had this conversation with my son. It's like when we were changing out the top of the car. See, he came out and did it with me, and he really likes to do that stuff. Because when he was little, I would always include him. But here's the thing. When you're doing stuff with your son, it's terrible. Like, it makes it way harder to have him helping you. It's 100% easier.
It's a way larger burden on you,
Yes.
the person doing it, because you have to stop, you have to explain. It takes more time.
Yes,
all of that.
but you do it anyways because it leads to better things. So when we were doing, he did 70% of the work, and he acknowledged. He was like, he even said something. He was like, he goes, I really like. I said, thanks for all your help, bud. And he goes, well, I really like doing this stuff. And he goes, it's way better than when you used to let me like turn the wrench one last time at the end. And I was like, yeah, but I did that so that you would learn to do stuff and you like it. And he acknowledged, like there was like this acknowledgement from him. He was like, well, I know it was a pain in the ass to have me out there, but like that's the game. You have to play these. Your dad played that game with you.
I don't know that he did.
He did.
I'm much bigger than him.
No, but the teach a man to fish versus give a man a fish.
When you were 6, Will, you weren't some Sasquatch that knew how to
yeah,
change
but I
a
also
tire.
wasn't helping him mow the lawn at 6.
Yeah,
I was staying out of his way.
I promise you that if your dad and you did stuff, your dad did it because he played the game. Life is all about these sorts of, like, they're not lies necessarily, but it's like I said, it's just a game. There's a flow of life, the force, if you will, that keeps society moving. It separates us from the animals. Otherwise, we're just a bunch of angry chimps.
It's like routine ritual or something
exactly.
like that. Yeah.
And it works out. It's a long con, and at the end, it pays off. And again, it's what separates us from the animals. It's what keeps you from murdering your children and you and your wife wanting to like kill each other every other day. You kind of go along with it. And so don't be that guy that goes against the grain. Your friends do it, your family does it, your kids do it. And the moment you're that guy, like that means you're just on the spectrum somewhere. And like we all know that person that has no social norms. You're like, oh my God, like what is this idiot doing? And you're like, well, he doesn't get it. He's refusing to play the game. And when you refuse to play the game, no one wants you around. You become that weird dude that no one really wants. And I guarantee you have that friend. And if you don't, you're like, oh, my friend doesn't have that.
Might be you.
And it's you. If your group of friends doesn't have that person, guess what? It's you.
We got a guy.
Exactly.
As you start going into this, we got a guy. Ours is just different, though. It's like,
well, you're younger.
You're different social dynamic and different relationship dynamics,
right.
Certainly.
It's more about like, that guy's not going to come because he doesn't pick up a round of beers. Yeah. That's more what we have to deal with.
And one person on the Vancouver 4 text line essentially saying that the game has stopped being played at their home, where he says, my wife if she doesn't want to do something, she's not going to offer any help. So no game there. That's just like, no, I won't offer if I'm not going to do it.
Well, and maybe you've reached that point in your life where you can be honest with each other. And if you do, then
that's a beautiful thing.
Then you've reached nirvana.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those, like we have that with asking me to do things because my lady is very social and likes to do things. Me, I'm a bit of an a-hole. So she knows not to ask when she says, hey, do you want to? My response is always the same. No, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, basically, if you don't want me to say that sounds terrible, don't ask me. Just say we're doing it.
Exactly.
Get voluntold.
Yes, there is a difference. I said, do you want me to do it or do you need me to do it? Because if you say, hey, I need you to come with me to this, then yes.
Different story.
I'll come and whatever.
Or, hey, doesn't this glass blowing class sound great? No, it doesn't.
No, my response is usually she goes, you always say that. And I'm like, exactly. And she knows it. And I set that precedent early. So again, you can reach a point where you move past some of those things, but look, in reality in life, you better learn to play the game or you're going to have an awkward Larry David-esque experience. Take it from me, because I'm not the best at this, and at times I get awkward Larry David type situations, and they're my own doing. They're 100% my own fault.
I had one of those situations earlier today where I wanted to say something, I wanted to hold my tongue, but like I ended up holding my tongue, but it was, I stopped to get a drink on the way in. I stopped to get a Diet Coke, and there was somebody at the 7-Eleven that was trying to return one of the items that they had bought from like the hot food area. And I'm like, how is this going to go? And they're complaining like, I came all the way over here for this and I'm never going to come back here again. And I wanted to be like, oh my God, lady, what did you like? No, we're not. We can't be doing this, but here we were.
Well, I had one today. I was proud of myself. I let one go today, and it took every fiber in my being to let it go. I was,
and I did. I said, I meant to say, I didn't actually tell her like we're not doing this, lady. But I was just sitting there seething like this poor attendant, this poor worker, this idiot woman who's got this ruse going about how she's probably gonna get a free slice of pizza or something. I don't know.
So I teed off. I played golf this morning out at my my little Fairway Village course there, right by my house, right. So we tee off early this morning. I figured I could get it done before it gets hot and then I can go about the rest of my day. So we tee off early. And I'm always just a single, so I just show up. So I get, there's one old guy and 2 Asian dudes that I'm playing with, younger dudes.
So not the beard dudes.
Not the beard dudes. So I got 2 Asian guys that are there together and then 1 single old guy. So the 2 Asian guys are off by themselves and then me and the old guy kind of pair up.
Okay.
And I'm wearing my, I'm wearing a Japan hat.
Okay.
I'm wearing the World Baseball Classic Japan hat. So the Asian dudes are asking me about the hat. And they're Chinese. So immediately they let me know that my hat kind of sucks. So I was like, all right, well, that's no big deal. So
wait, in what way? That just like they don't like the hat, or that Japan sucks?
Yeah, Japan sucks.
China.
Yeah, they let me know. All right, so they're not shy about letting me know that Japan sucks. And I
Bold
was
strategy, Cotton.
Well, I was like, well, I'm not Japanese. It's like it's my.
And also, what are you gonna do about
I don't
it?
know. I was like, I didn't know what to do. So whatever. They seemed nice enough. They just were. I don't know. They were fine, right? They were. I thought a little national pride, nothing wrong with that. Look, there's a bit of a rivalry there between the Chinese and Japanese, but I was like, hey, no big deal. So when I play with people that I don't know and my eyesight isn't that great, I've talked about this, I play a colored ball.
Right.
Because it's easier for me to see and then it's easier for me to find. And I was playing a Shrixon split ball, 1/2 green, 1/2 like bright red.
Sure. Okay.
You can't mistake my ball. So first tee up, we get one just kind of right edge of the fairway and there's a bunch of trees there, but it's like, oh, it's no big deal. I'm like, oh, it's right there. So I'm looking around, can't find it. And my man over there, one of my Asian bros had hit over there too. So we're kind of looking around and one of the lady goes, no, I saw it come down right here. And I'm like I don't know. So I can't find this
These
thing.
guys stole your effing ball.
I'm looking around. I'm like, there's no way. But, I'm like, maybe it hit a tree root and, it's right by some houses. And if it kicks into a house, nothing you do. So I look for maybe a minute. I can't find it. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? So I drop another one.
Oh, I think I know what's coming.
So I drop another one and I hit, get on the green and up there putting. And my man over there is not necessarily a great golfer. So he's kind of screwing around over there. Next thing I know, I see a ball coming up on the green. It's my ball. It's the red and green ball. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, no effing way. And the old man who I'm with goes, dude, is that your ball? I'm like,
who else's ball would it be?
well, and they teed off with a white ball.
Yeah.
They teed off with a white ball. And now and so I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, what are the maybe I don't want to be weird, but I'm like, I look over and it's
Did you accidentally hit my ball? Did you do that social thing?
Well, no, but we're just looking there and I think to myself, we're both looking for balls. And I saw him pick up like 2 balls like in the bushes. I'm like, I guess. So I just kind of laughed about it. And the guy's like, you gonna say something? I'm like, nah. I'm like, this is just weird. So he plays my ball for like 2 holes. And there's part of me that's like, I want to be like, dude, what are you doing here?
You watched me tee off. You gave me crap about my hat.
So no big deal, whatever. So like 2 holes later, he hits it into the water. I see it splash and I'm like, whatever. So like the next hole or two down, there's one of the longer holes. And now I'm playing a white and yellow split ball. And I hit it down the left side of the fairway. And same thing, it's not like right in the fairway, but it certainly is it's right on the edge. So I'm walking down and guess who's over there again? My man. I can't find the ball.
No.
I'm looking all over for it. And one of his other Asian bros is like, yeah, I heard it hit a tree. And I'm like, okay.
So now you guys have some gambit going on?
I don't know.
Like,
so I'm looking around
golf
and
ball
I
stealing
can't find
gambit?
it. And the old guy's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. There's no way. Like, I'm like, those aren't lost balls. It has to be. It has to be here. Can't find it. 2 holes later, my man goes to tee up a ball. Guess what he's teeing up?
Your ball.
The white and yellow ball, the white and yellow Shrixon. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
So
and
this time you had to say something, right?
No! I was sitting there at this point, and the old man is just dying. He thinks it's the greatest thing
I
ever.
think he's going to say something.
And we're both just kind of sitting there looking at each other. And I was like, because at this point, we're like on hole 7, right? There's 2 levels, we're just playing 9 holes. I was like, I just was like, old me would have been like, seriously, dude, what the F? Like, you can't do that. I let one go. I let one go on one. I'm not letting this go. You're just taking my ball? Are you not aware? I wanted to be like, are you not aware it's my ball? Or do you just think you just found a ball? And by the way, it's one thing if you find a ball like
or
in
do you
the
know
rough.
exactly what you're doing and you just don't think I'll call you on it?
I don't know. I'm just like, and then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, is he just doing gags? Is he just like effing with me?
This is a great bit.
If it is, then more power to him. I'm just like, what in the hell is happening?
Vancouver Ford text line says, Jason, you're just getting Asian punked. I don't know what that is, but
Dude,
wow.
I've never in my life, what balls is it to you to pick up 2 balls in play and then play with them?
That match the pattern of the person you're playing with. The unique pattern.
I'm just stunned. I was absolutely stunned. And I didn't say anything. I finished out the 2 finished out the 2 holes, and the old guy playing with me again just goes, dude, that's the best thing I've ever seen. And then the Asian dudes were like, hey, it's nice meeting you. And they just wandered off. I've never had it happen in my entire life. And I did. I just let it go. I was like, you know what? We're not doing this today. It's not a big deal. It's 2 golf balls. Let it go. But if you're listening out there, just know whether you did that on purpose, whether you're doing bits or whatever, unbelievable. Just unbelievable that you pulled that off. Fantastic.
I love every part of this. Now, I need to see if you can get paired with this person again. Have you seen these people around before?
No, but they did say, because I play there a bunch, and they're like, they were like, hey, do you play here? I was like, yeah, I live across, because they saw me. I don't drive to the course.
You
I
just
walk
over from your house, yeah.
Yeah, so I have my little push cart, and so when we're going back to the clubhouse, I'm like, hey guys, I just turn here, and they're
Sure.
like, oh, you play here a bunch. I was like, yeah, and they're like, us too. I kind of want to play with them again, and see if it happens one more time. Never in all my life, I've never seen it done once, let alone twice. And again, to take someone's ball, ballsy, to play that same hole, the exact same hole with the ball you picked up, incredible. Incredible.
The only thing I've seen that's similar to
Juan,
that
I'm looking right at you, my man.
is the guy that says, like, when you say, oh, did you accidentally grab my ball to the group ahead? And they're like, no, I don't think so. And then you're like, oh, well, was it a Titleist 2 or whatever? And they're like, oh yeah, that is yours. I've seen that happen, and I've seen it happen once with a separate group. I have never heard of anything as crazy as people in your own group picking up your ball and then playing with the same ball twice.
Yeah, at least the second one they picked up, he waited 2 holes. The first one, he just never found his tee shot, so he just took mine and was like, we're hitting this one.
Team golf.
To see that ball, that very specific ball, come flying over the trap and land on the green,
Gotta be.
my jaw about fell on the ground, and I just thought to myself, like, this only happens to me. There is some sort of weird karmic force that just looks at me and is like, what are you gonna do?
It's the universe testing you to see, for sure.
And I'm just like, dude, it's a golf ball.
You've got to kick him off the tour.
It's a great bit. I can't wait to do this to someone at the Fan Golf Classic.
Well, there was, I will admit, later on, I did this once to a former NFL quarterback at a celebrity golf tournament.
Nice.
And something along these lines. He did not think it was very funny. I was playing in the group next to his, and he's a serious guy. So whenever he had custom balls with like his name and like number
Little
on them.
initials or something, yeah.
Yeah, I was sneaking around and I was grabbing the balls like when he wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention.
If this is who I think it is, I can see how well/poorly this would have gone.
I got like 3 of them before he realized it was me, and he cursed me so very hard. Yeah, I just was playing the 2 groups in front of him, so we were running parallel, so I could see him tee off, and he's a big hitter. So I realized that like 1-1 came over by me. I was like, oh God, watch this, because he takes it dude. It's a charity stupid scramble tournament.
Sure.
And he was taking it very seriously. This was years and years and years ago. But that was like, it's a joke. I wasn't taking the ball. My man was just taking balls and playing with them. And to be fair, he was searching for golf balls. He had in the water, you had the little like water getter. My man was collecting golf balls.
So he was there to profit that day as well.
He left with more golf balls than when he showed up, including 2 of mine.
And I bet that's a regular thing for him. That is sensational.
Dude is awesome. His name was Twan.
Well, I do have coming up later in the show, we'll have you guys answer the question, total douche or absolute legend golf pro edition. I have a story that very different from yours, but I want your take on. Additionally, soccer's new buddy system and participation trophies gone too far. Let's see. One person on this show can do something our Dream Team MVPs cannot, and I guarantee we have listeners who could do it too. And then I will present to you the Steed Cream Roper Real or Fake Baseball Name Game. That's going to be coming up at 5:15. Inspired by the once ball-sacked moment of Steed Cream Roper, I saw a thread the other day of real baseball players that existed. I have paired them with some that did not, and we'll have you and young Ortner figure out which ones are real, which ones are fake. That's all coming up. But coming up next, there's no football, so what the hell else are we talking about? That's on Primetime, 1080 The Fan. Of the tale that Suk just told and the people playing golf along with him. I can't believe the audacity that they would there's no other word I can think of it,
No.
but you saying seeing that ball with this with the two split colors going over your head out of the stand shot, I can't believe it.
Never seen anything like it. And like I said, I think that's what like impressed me, like where I wasn't angry. I did the Ron Burgundy. I'm not even mad. Quite frankly, that's amazing. That someone was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna do this right here. Not a hole or two later. No, same hole. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit this bad boy.
Well, there was mention of the Fan Golf Classic last segment, and that means that Thursday will be a best of show. We haven't done one of those on this program in nearly 2 years. So
Really? You haven't done a best of in 2
because
years?
usually I would I would rather find somebody that like an Ortner who can show up and hang around and chew the fat with me
Oh, yeah.
than do the and I think the boss man likes having live programming rather than
He
some of the
does.
older stuff. And so but with everybody out of the Fan Golf Classic, not really an option. And I would actually submit to you, the listeners, if there's a segment from the last year or so that really stood out, this golf story being one of those, let me know. Tell us on the fan text line, 503-8646-FAN. I'd be happy to run that back. I've got a couple in mind. I've got the swag Portland Pilots call when we created all those drops, the segment right coming off of his live broadcast of the WCC tournament. That one will be in
I'll
there.
tell you what, that was fantastic.
The birth of Isachi will be in there when that first happened.
When we got to hear the swag, we think
Mhm.
that was the Gonzaga women getting into
We
the tournament.
think.
That's-
Hold on, everybody. Here's the situation. It's over. We think.
That's an all-timer for me. That will. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and stuff blends together. That one will stick with me for a long, long time.
And then additionally, I've thought that we should include probably some Dan Lanning in there. We've got some good interviews with him to run back, but mostly what's the club stuff? What's the in the news stuff? If you guys think of anything that's been memorable or stood out to you over the last year, you can let me know, but I want to know what the listeners think as well.
Isaac not knowing the promotions lady's name was
That
beautiful.
was good. That was good. Somebody else says the Croonoff would be a good re-listen. I was not here for the Croonoff, so I was on parental leave, and so maybe I will find that.
Yeah, the Crudoff was good between Harris and Schulte, because Patrick Harris came in confident. Like, he came in with a swagger, and the first time he heard Schulte sing, he was like, crap. He was like, damn it, the kid can actually sing. Well, no offense, but you look at Schulte, and he doesn't exactly look like he can belt it out, which is kind of the sneaky part about people that have musical talent.
That's the thing, especially singers, you could look like anything.
Yeah, right? It's like, no offense, but if like you're out at the Y and Schulte comes out in his and one shorts, like, you're not thinking that dude's going to drop a triple double on you. Like, that's not going to concern you. But you can't make that judgment about someone with musical talent. Schulte's got pipes.
Definitely. Well, today's poll question is, with no football around, we're having to find some other stuff to talk about, like golf follies and crooning. But without football, what are you following most closely until football season? So I ask, is it MLB season and the All-Star game? Is it the soccer tournaments going on like the Euros, Copa America, and the MLS season that is underway? Is it the NBA Summer League and the NBA and the Olympics? Or is it golf or tennis?
Summer League. Gosh. If you're watching Summer League and your name isn't Danny Meringue, I feel
I
bad
included
for
the
you.
Olympics if you're a dream teamer, if you want to see what goes on
I'll
with
watch-
that.
The Olympics get a hold of me. I get welled up with a little national pride, and I like watching my Swedes. And I pull for, like, it depends. Like when it comes to like hockey, I like to see Canada do well because it's their sport. I find different countries, but yeah, it's nice to get a little national pride, because especially in nowadays, I swear to God, there is nothing that we can agree on this stupid country to cheer for.
Nope.
And you would think that we can get behind national stuff, but then like the soccer team, like the women's soccer team, half the country hates them. We're like, those bitches don't represent me.
Well, don't forget, there have been people on that very dream team that have been told to shut up and dribble.
Exactly.
So
It's just, can we just for a brief period pretend that we like each other? And yes, it doesn't have any real significance, but can we just, like every other country, can we just come together and root for some people to dribble or run real fast and stand there with the American flag? That's such a terrible thing. So I do like the Olympics.
Yeah, flags.
Yeah, I do like the Olympics. My patriotism isn't all wrapped up in it, but I do enjoy pulling for my fellow countrymen and women. And it's nice to see them up on the podium.
Well, that was mostly a segue to get us to this. There was some good sports going on today across the pond. There have been this week, and I think there's been some salacious stuff coming out. Wimbledon, the Euros, scandals, injuries, and celebration. We've got it all. It's coming up next, but first, Ortner has SportsCenter. Unfortunately, we're wishing him a speedy recovery. Some good suggestions coming in already on the Vancouver Ford text line for best of shows, including Cobra Airlines, any situation where Rob is mad that the plane is getting turned around.
Cobra Airlines was great.
That was a good one.
And by the way, I would like to point out from yesterday's club, Buck, I have already singled out at least 5 potential candidates for the 1080 The Fan Haunted Doll.
I've got it right here in my notes. Check in on Souk Doll Hunt.
Yeah, my kids at the dinner table. If you didn't know, last night in the club, I brought to the table a new phenomenon where people are buying and selling haunted dolls on Etsy and eBay. And I think it's appropriate. I've been wanting to be haunted for a while. I am going to buy a haunted doll. And by the way, this is real. Just look up haunted doll on eBay
You
or
said
Etsy.
you can find like 2,000 different people selling them.
Absolutely. So I told my family about this, and we did spend the entire dinner hour last night looking and selecting
This doesn't surprise me at all.
haunted dolls. You'll also to know that there's a whole sect of dolls that are haunted dolls with active demons, succubus, shapeshifter, sex demons as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just be prepared. I'm not certain if we want to go down that road, but they are there as well.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we opened a whole Pandora's box last night about this haunted doll thing. So
Yeah, on my notes is Souk Haunted Doll Shopping. I'm going to get an update. We'll do that. More of it at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's coming. Just be prepared. I want all the other shows to be prepared as well because this is really for all of us. I'm not doing this for a show. I'm really doing it for a station.
Sure.
I feel like this
I'm
station,
not sure everyone else feels the same way, but
Well,
it's a nice thought.
Yeah, get used to it. It's a coming.
Where do you want to start? We've got drama across the pond today, Souk. I know there's not a lot going on here on American soil sports-wise. We've got the All-Star game coming up. Yeah. We've got Major League Baseball happening, but big events happening over in Europe. In Germany, you've got the Euros 2024, and in London or outside of London, you've got Wimbledon going on. There is serious drama at both. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, I'm going to go with the Euros because I've yet to get enthralled into Wimbledon. You tried to tell me today that something interesting was going on at Wimbledon. I didn't care.
A thrilling 5-setter.
And then at the gym, I saw that match that you were talking about was on, and I tried watching it, and I still didn't care. But the Euros, I can get involved in the soccer. The French went down today 2-1. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, so the way that the bracket broke, essentially the top 2 teams in the tournament, well, England had the top odds going in. Spain has been the best in the tournament. France, I think, was the second odds on favorite to win it going in. So the best matchup in this semis was definitely Spain-France. No shade to the Dutch in their matchup against the English. But you said that the French went down 2-1. They actually led early. They had an 8th-minute goal. They were up 1-0. And then this happened.
Major tournament semi-finals. The trend is their friend. And what a goal that was! Lamine Yamal! You're looking at the youngest ever scorer at the Euros. It has happened.
Dude, it's ridiculous. That kid's 16 years old.
Youngest goal ever scored at the Euros as an equalizer in the semifinals by a kid. I love the name, Lamine Yamal.
Yeah. And by the way, he looks 16. He's got a mouthful of braces, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And it's a ridiculous goal, too.
Yeah, he's kind of weaving up the pitch. He gets the ball above the penalty box, and he kind of cuts back, and he puts this left-footed curler like right around the keeper, upper corner. It was beautiful.
I will tell you that as I've kind of gotten into soccer, the shaping of the ball
so impressive
is by far the thing that gets my sports pants the tightest when it comes to that. Those guys' ability to put English on that bastard and curve it around, anytime, like the Thorns had a 16-year-old girl that I think she's like 17 now, but she was a local kid, or just anytime I see someone that's 15, 16, 17 years old and they're playing at the highest level
in the world,
I can't process that because I come from a world where like the only sport I was ever really good at, like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you can't do that at 16.
No
16-year-olds walking on an NFL roster.
Yeah, Jesus at 16 wasn't playing in the NFL.
No.
Like you can't, it doesn't happen. So when I see whether it's a 16-year-old basketball kid, going at NBA guys, or you see a soccer kid or the tennis phenom, gymnastics is creepy because you see a kid that's like 12. The X Games has this. Some 12-year-old just hit like 3 900s in a row. Like
he's 9.
He's 9.
I think he's 9.
I can't process that.
Yeah, we
because-
watched the 14-year-old gal just win the entire event the other day. It's wild.
Yeah, it's just that. I don't know. It makes me embarrassed for my children. And then I'm disgusted with myself. I'm like, really? A fairly decent athlete. And then I was like, wait, why did I suck so bad when I was young? I was young. I was like 14. I was eating SpaghettiOs and watching like the Disney afternoon and, doing some dumb crap. This kid's out there scoring in the Euros on some sort of ridiculous goal.
Yeah, incredible bender there. Then there was drama after the game, and I don't know if you saw this video, but it has something that now has the opportunity to impact the final. Tomorrow we'll get England versus the Netherlands. That'll be the other half of the final.
Well, I have to root for England now due to my close personal friend and man crush, Phil Neville.
Of course.
He played on the English team, therefore, Operation Best Friend of me befriending Timbers head coach Phil Neville. I'm going to have to start rooting for England.
So we'll get to England in 1 second, but after the Spanish beat the French today, there was an incident. If you look it up, you can see it. It is all over the internet, but Spain's striker, Alvaro Morata, was subbed out late in the game for defensive purposes, I'm sure, or just fatigue, conditioning, whatever. Easily one of their best players. But when they come off, they switch their shirts. They take off their kit and they put on a different colored one so they're not mistaken for the other players on the field. Or you often see them wearing the bibs that are like bright neon colors. That's a little bit more common for subs. Yeah. But Morata came out of the game. He had been wearing his red kit and was now wearing a white shirt. And he's mobbing his teammates after the final whistle. And there's some dumbass fan out there hopping around trying to get a selfie with the team hopping around. And the stewards, as they call them across the pond, who are basically your security guards, they all go sprinting after selfie bro, and in doing so, take out the knee of Alvaro Morata, and now the striker for Spain, if you look at it, it looks like a patented NFL injury, like a lineman getting rolled up on. He's planted, someone hits him towards the back of the knee, it kind of collapsing inward, and he had to be helped off the field.
Yeah, because when I first saw this, I obviously didn't see it live, but I was like, I saw the headline and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, come on.
This is going to be a Filipowski thing. It's the one thing that drives me crazy about soccer.
The pearl clutching.
I just struggle with it. I do. I get why you do it. You're trying to sell the call. It infuriates me how much of a candy ass move that is. So when I first heard that, I was like, okay, whatever. But when you do see it, it does appear to be a legit injury.
And it's because the steward fell and rolled into him.
Yes. It looks like a real
Just get out the freezy spray thing that they spray. I was watching that game at the gym today, and some dude gets rolled up on. They run out there, they spray the freezy spray on him, and then he's out running around prancing like nothing happened. That's the miracle cure. Just put that on his knee.
I imagine they will try that, but the fact that this could happen to your team one game short of the championship is awfully poor luck and some poor performance from the
poor
steward.
Security guard, who, by the way, my man, you got to get a bigger tee. He's wearing like one of those Adidas, like
a Euros medium.
A Euros medium. It's not good. The mitts are in the wrong places. You got to get yourself a bigger shirt. And there's a great photo of the what's the player's name?
Alvaro Morata.
Alvaro Morata. He's just standing there, like right in front of the douchey bro. There is such a great photo of Dom, the security guard, going down. Like you can just see the moment, and his leg kind of. It's like a jiu-jitsu move. His leg goes in between the other guy like he's going to compete like a sweep. It is just, it's brutal. And in that moment, the security guard's like, no.
And if he misses the final and they lose, he'll forever be that guy.
Well, like, anyone that's been a lineman knows this. Or anyone that's played any high-level football. One of the big deals that in high school, it's not. But when you get to college and the NFL, going to the ground is like, the worst thing you can do.
You don't do it.
You do not do it under any circumstances, and no one has any sympathy for you. Even if you're in pads, if you fall to the ground, oh my God, like you get, especially if you're just a dip ass, like you're not one of the. I've seen guys get cut in the NFL because they're not athletic, they don't stay on their feet, because that is the fear. When you get big fat guys and you're in that confined space and you start falling, you get knees rolled up into, and it's like, oh, be an athlete, stay on your feet. Stay on your feet. So we all know that feeling. Like when you're around a real player that matters and you find yourself start to stumble, you're just like, oh my God, please don't blow anyone's knee. Don't blow anyone's knee. And you know that security guard had it. You can just see the look of panic on his face as he goes down.
So moving over to the English side of things.
By the way, we don't know if he's
no,
gonna...
they haven't said anything yet about his status. I'm sure there won't be anything until I think the finals over the weekend.
And
so.
he's the captain.
Yeah, and their striker. That's a tough blow.
This is why when you hire security, don't just hire the big fat guy. You need to hire the strong, like slender, fit-looking guy.
And let me say this too: the security guy, it's poor fun on him. You got to have cleats.
Yeah,
you're out there on the grass. You gotta have.
There's a reason the players wear them. They slip around if you don't have them.
My bro's out there just wearing some like Adidas like running shoes,
trainers,
some cross trainer. No man, you got to go Joe Paterno. You know you're out there.
Jim Harbaugh did that too.
Exactly. You know you're out there for security. You got to be nimble. You got to go. You got to be wearing cleats. That's poor form. You can't do that. You got to be geared up, ready to go, and get some more mobility with that shirt. Bigger shirt, some cleats. That won't happen.
So, want to get it to the England side as well. So, you mentioned your buddy, Phil Neville. I wonder how he would think about this practice. First of all, the English, they won on penalties against the Swiss to advance to the semis. And it was noticed after that game, there were close-up shots of their goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford's water bottle.
Yeah.
And he had a list of every player on the opposing team and an instruction for what he should do when they step up to the penalty spot. Dive left, dive right, wait and react, wait and hold. And I'm like, holy S, this guy has the full scouting report for their entire roster sitting right next to him. He looks down, and the one that got saved, he dove to the side that it told him to dive. And
that's kick-ass.
So I'm wondering now, if other teams know this, if you're a shooter, does it affect what you would want to do going in if people have figured out a tendency that you have, or now are you in your own head about it?
Well, I would assume that everyone has the tendencies. And when you get to that level, one, it's kind of fun.
But they all have the capabilities to switch it too, right?
So it's fun that he had it written on his water bottle, but that's no different than when you go up. If you're a major league hitter and you bring in a closer, you know what that guy throws.
The guy's scouting report for sure.
And the guy knows if you're playing Ohtani where he likes the ball. So no, that doesn't matter. Like if you're a guy and you like to go high and to the left, my guess is that's because what you're best at. Do you go there every single time? You have to know that that's in your scouting report. If you don't, you're kind of a jackass. It's just kind of a fun thing to see that it's like written on a water bottle. You would think
he's got like a little reference card.
You would think that someone would just holler at him and be like, "Hey, just by the way, my man here goes down and to the right."
But the British fans also recognized something during that shootout. I heard someone on a podcast say that the British fans analyze every match like it's the Zapruder tapes. They noticed that with every player who was walking to the penalty spot to take their shot, they had a buddy with them. And each player had a different buddy. It appears that England has invoked a buddy system in which someone walks you to the penalty spot and then is there for you to either celebrate with you or support you if you've missed your kick.
Huh.
Thoughts on the buddy system in PKs?
It's like little kids crossing the street, like outdoor school. You got a goal buddy.
Is that cool or is that like pathetic?
It's like back in the day, like Hamilton duels. You had your second. You got. I don't know. You got your buddy out there with you. I've never been in that situation where I need to kick anything, but I suppose, right? It's like old wrestling. You have your manager. I could have Bobby the Brain Heenan out there with me, giving me some words of encouragement. Yeah, I guess that's kind of cool.
It seems a little odd to me because they're still just standing like 30 yards away. Once you turn around, you can go back there and they'll high five you and stuff.
Like if you're going to the free throw line, do you want a buddy that's walking you to the free throw line? You like whisper,
here's Steph. I got you.
Whisper sweet nothings in your ear.
Yeah, but think about it though. Like when you go out and you go and try and pick up ladies or something like that, you don't go solo. You go with a buddy,
wingman style.
You need that person there to help.
This guy can't assist on your kick.
But he can give you words of encouragement, or, he can go up with you as you're going up to like the girl and be like, "Oh, those are sporty shoes. She's probably into sports. Ask her about sports. Oh, she's got a Manhattan. She's probably ask her about the Manhattan."
Like that, I'm glad that it's positive. The first college game that I ever played in was against the University of Alabama, and I was a freshman, and I was the backup for both guards in the center. And the center got hurt right at the end of the half. And so I came in the game, and we had an All-American left tackle who I was terrified of. Dude was went 17th overall in the first round of the draft. And I remember standing in the huddle, like waiting to cart the center off. I was so nervous dude, I just was like, oh my God. And they had an All-American nose tackle, played for the Cowboys for a bunch of years. And the tackle's like, he's like, hey, he's like, Scanek, you ready? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you better be. He goes, you F this up. He's like, I'll freaking kill you. And I'm like, he's like, that guy's really good. He's like, don't be it, it's like the most negative thing ever. And like, I think he was just doing it to F with me, but oh my God.
Not helpful, guy.
I was like, thanks, dude. And then like the guard like this over me was like, seriously, dude, that guy's really good. Like, don't F it up. I'm like, thanks. It's like a real positive motivation. It's all I thought about. Like when you said like they have a buddy.
Yeah.
My buddy that was like, don't F this up. I'll kill you. And then
Well,
I put the snap almost over the quarterback's head. So it didn't go so well.
Well, over
whoops.
I don't know that you were getting into any spats though with the number 4 ranked player in your sport, and didn't have anything to do with a fashion influencer. That's what's going on over at Wimbledon right now. We'll explain the details next. Primetime 1080 The Fan. We talked yesterday. You were mentioning that you didn't recognize really any of the top 10 players in the men's or women's sides.
No, I know one men's player and I know one women's player. And I grew up watching tennis. I like tennis. I just find it to be irrelevant. Everyone that I know is gone, and I have no attachment whatsoever to any of these people.
So yesterday, one of those matches was between number 4 in the world, Alexander Zverev, and number 13, Taylor Fritz. Taylor Fritz beat him after coming back from being down 2-0, and so it was a 5-set drama. But the real drama came after the match when Fritz's fashion influencer girlfriend. Her name is Morgan Riddle.
The fashion influencer.
The opponent who lost made the comment that some people in his box, being Fritz's personal box, he goes, and I'm not talking about the coaches and family, like clearly haven't been in tennis for a while. Like he didn't like how loud she was cheering, thought it was above decorum, etc. Well, during that same match, she Instagrammed a story that essentially said, "Let's hear it for the good guy, ladies," or something of that ilk. And then afterwards, she said, "A win for the girls." That really set off Zverev's camp, not because it was about her or herself, but because Zverev has had allegations against him of domestic violence.
By two former partners.
2 different ex-girlfriends. So it didn't take long for tennis folks to read the tea leaves and be like, she's calling him an abuser and cheering on her man, and they don't like that.
She did delete them.
And so she said that it had nothing to do with that, but because of her deletion and subsequent apology, it stands to reason she knew what she was doing.
For God's sakes, can we all just grow like a set from time to time and stop being outraged by things and then have to make fake apologies? Dude, you got accused of domestic violence. Whether you did it or you didn't, it's part of you. And someone makes like some sort of aloof reference to it, or they're cheering too loud. Again, this is like this is my equivalent of the soccer flop. Like the tennis, like it's inappropriate behavior to cheer too loud. Dude, get over yourself, jackass.
Djokovic had that issue yesterday.
It just, because he thought that people were booing him.
When they were saying they were using the opportunity to say his opponent's name Rune as a boo.
Again, maybe it's I just come from a different world. But if you're not mentally tough enough to handle someone maybe booing you or maybe cheering too loud or, God forbid, referencing something in a very like kind of backhanded way, something that may or may not have happened to you,
you're feeding into it more by bringing it up. If you just let that go, everyone thinks she's just doing stuff about herself. And even if they think that, they can't say that she's let
me just say this for the record too, on anyone that's ever I'm not condoning social media bullying. I understand it's real, and expect for kids, it's a huge deal. And I don't want anyone to feel bad about themselves. And I certainly don't want anyone to hurt themselves. And I know it's a real deal. But God, the old man in me just wants to be like, you
can log off.
You can just not read it.
You could log off.
You can't do that. Someone posted something on Instagram about me. You can just turn off your mentions for a bit. Yeah, it'll go away in a day or two. You don't have to respond to every single thing that someone says about you. It is possible. I tell that to all the people when they first start here at the Fan. I'm like, just be careful reading the text program.
Yeah.
Because
it can be rough.
It can be rough. And we had one guy here who literally couldn't handle it.
Yep.
Like he melted down over it. He could not handle. I'm like, just don't read it. Just stop. And if you do read it, don't respond. don't go back and forth. Just let it go. It fascinates me that we live in a world where someone saying something to you online is so traumatic that you just can't help yourself.
It requires a retaliation. It requires an escalation. It's gotten pretty crazy.
I appreciate it when you see athletes or celebrities that just appear to be above it. And I get at some point, like if someone keeps going at it, I get that it's, sometimes it just gets under your skin and you can't help it. But when it's one-off stuff, it amazes me how sensitive the Kevin Durant's of the world are.
Yeah.
And it makes me appreciate like the Steph Currys that seem to just take it in stride a little bit. It's like, dude, you won. Like, you're in the Wimbledon semifinals. Like you're doing fine, man. You're doing fine. Someone's influencer girlfriend.
Don't add any gas to that fire. Who cares, man?
Pokes the bear a little bit. You're like, this is unacceptable.
And then the other thing that stood out to me today from today's Wimbledon match was the number 1 Yannick Sinner, who you'd never heard of,
No,
and
I have no idea who
number
that
5
is.
Daniil Medvedev, who I think you also hadn't heard of.
No, I don't. When you're saying tennis names, they just sound made up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those are like
We have a made-up baseball name program coming up later in the show.
those are all like third-round hockey players. They're on the grind line for a team, and I'm like, oh yeah, that Medvedev guy. That guy plays a mean blue line.
But what stood out to me was not what was going on the court. It was that we're now. How long ago did Russia invade Ukraine? Was that over a year ago?
I think it was 2 years ago, was it not?
I believe it was. So initially, Wimbledon, out of solidarity for Ukraine, they didn't want Russia to be officially represented in Wimbledon, but they didn't want to punish the
Yeah,
players.
February 2022.
So last year, any Russian players who were entered in the tournament, they didn't get a flag by their name. They just had the blank thing. They did this in the Olympics
the
too,
Olympics.
right?
They're part of like a they fly under the Olympic banner.
So my question is, how long does this go on? Because Daniil Medvedev is out there with just a blank, a literal white canvas next to his name. He's still Russian. It doesn't make him not Russian. I don't understand. Is there an end to it, or is he always just like a blank nation player for the rest of
That
time?
is weird. I
Like,
guess I didn't really think about that, but I'm assuming they're doing that at the Olympics.
because I was
going
going
to
to say the Olympics are coming up again, and I wonder with athletes from Russian, I think they call them from the Russian Federation or something like that. They have their own individual banner that they compete under now. But
to be fair, they also had to do this with Russia because they all got banned due to they ran like the world's worst doping program in the
like
history.
state sponsored.
At some point, can we just be like, hey, Russia, look, we appreciate you got some great athletes, but you don't get to play in any of the reindeer games. You guys are all cheating, and your country is in the midst of committing war crimes. Therefore, this is going to be awkward for us. But you're not going to get to go. I didn't realize they were doing that in Wimbledon either.
I just thought, still okay, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I guess I don't know what you're supposed to do in that. I mean,
So the sex line says they'll probably keep doing it until Russia stops invading Ukraine. That's my other thing is I don't think Russia gives a rip that you've done this. Like I don't. You think Putin's sitting there lamenting that his flag isn't up there over Daniil Medvedev's name?
Actually, I bet you that bothers him.
That's a good point.
He does seem like the sort of guy that's gonna
get under his skin.
That's gonna piss him off.
But it's not gonna make him not invade Ukraine. That's my point.
No, I do kind of like when sports is a great unifier and it can be a distraction. But yeah, nothing that's happening on the old ball field there and the pickleball courts of the world. Yeah, that's not affecting any sort of like mass diplomacy. Like one of my great. Like if I could have been if you could go back in time and watch a sports moment, one of mine is I wish I could go watch Jesse Owens run at the Berlin Olympics. Like that blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like that douche canoe over in Germany thought you want to talk about like misguided ideas? Yeah, he thought the white guys were the fastest dudes in the world. You want to talk about how absurd like you could have the idea. Yeah, the white Germans are gonna outrun everybody. Well, no, here's this Jesse Owens guy. Like I would have loved to have seen that, right? You talk about the amount of pressure and all that, but you know what that didn't do? It didn't stop the mustache guy.
No.
It wasn't. He was like, all right, good one, Jesse. You proved a point. No more invading anyone. No, that didn't stop anybody. But I guess it's symbolic. Like Wimbledon's like, not on our watch. Nice try, Russia. Here's a blank canvas.
Well, coming up, need to get into a little Team USA talk, and not really so much about the Olympics or the roster, but now that all the stars have come together, there is a glaring issue with the roster, a skill that you and I may possess that some of the MVPs on the team do not. That's coming up next. Primetime 1080 The Fan. birthday boy, Rop, still out, still on the mend, and we are wishing him a speedy recovery. Hopefully he makes that golf tournament. We were talking about those odds yesterday. What do we think now?
Well, he says he feels pretty good, but he needs the negative test. So I feel like the golf tournament's going to happen. I feel, look, I've been fooled before by one Isaac Rop's immune system. But I feel like he's getting antsy. I feel like he's feeling guilty. And I think there's an outside chance tomorrow, but I feel very confident. I feel like now the overwhelming favorite is Rop at the golf tournament on Thursday.
I tend to think that's likely, but again, it all comes down to the test.
Exactly. Let's see. I do believe that the boss has told him, no test, no coming back.
Well, coming up later this hour, what a local gym class instructor and Jamarcus Russell have in common. Oh. And additionally, local police bust a stolen toy ring. Two stories I'm very excited about for In the News. But before that, I want to get to Team USA and a clip that is going viral. I don't know if this was first on Instagram or TikTok, but Team USA has finally converged to get ready to prepare for the Paris Olympics. Obviously, we talked yesterday or the day before about Cooper Flagg scrimmaging against Team USA and all that's going on. But a video came out asking all of the players to do one specific thing, and 4 of them couldn't do it. I can do it. Ortner says he cannot. I'm wondering if you can. Can you spin a basketball on your finger?
How long do I have to spin it for?
I guess long enough that we would say, oh yeah, you've got it spinning there. Like, I mean, not like, oh, it spin and fell off.
Yeah, I can. I wouldn't say that I am great at it by any stretch of the imagination, but if you say that I got to give you like a 5 Mississippi, I can do it. Now, if I have to continue to spin
a 5 Mississippi is totally acceptable.
Then yes, at one point, I was certainly able to do that, but I haven't done it in years.
I'm in the same boat.
So I need some warm up.
I haven't done it in a while. I've done it more recently than playing JV hoops in high school, but I haven't done it in a few years. I'm confident I could. There are 4 players on Team USA, the best basketball players in the world, that can't spin the ball on their finger.
I find that odd.
This, to me, is like the upset of the century.
Who can't spin it?
So I will let you guess. Who do you think on that team? You can pull up the roster if you want. Who do you think on that team would not be able to spin the ball on their finger?
Well, I am, and this is probably like sizeism, but I'm gonna say that it's probably the bigs. Like if you're asking me there's no way a guard can't do that. So I'm gonna say like Bam. I'll go with Bam being one that can't spin it. Bam can spin it, huh?
Bam was not outed as someone who cannot spin it.
Okay. I mean, God, there's no way. Like it's not going to be like one of the guards. Embiid.
That's correct. Embiid is one of the 4. He said he cannot do it.
Yeah, again, he's just I'm going raw size here. What about Kevin Durant? Because he's got freaky long fingers.
Durant can spin the basketball, and actually, he said that. Well, we'll play the audio. I believe he said that it's disgusting that Embiid can't do it.
Yeah, that's weird. It's a weird thing. So like I guarantee LeBron can do it. What about Kawhi Leonard?
LeBron James cannot spin a basketball.
The hell out of town.
The video is out there. He can't do it. He says he can't do it.
No.
Yes.
I don't
think they're doing bits. It's tweeted out by the official NBA account. Yeah. LeBron James.
Is there a video of LeBron James trying to do it?
Yes, there's video of these people trying. He gives it a flip, and it kind of falls off his hand. He's like, nah, I can't do it.
Huh. I would have never, of all the people, he would have been the last. I would have had to get down to the very end before I would have thought that.
Who else you got?
I see it right here. Yeah, oh my gosh.
So if you're seeing the video now, I can reveal the others, and maybe the one that's even more mind-blowing than LeBron, Stephen freaking Curry.
So you're telling me that Steph Curry, arguably the greatest point guard of all time,
and a known exceptional ball handler,
can't spin a basketball?
That's correct.
Yeah, I'm watching it here, and it's a little awkward, especially with how easy like some of the guys like Drew Holiday spin it.
And Drew Holiday, and we'll play the audio for you. Actually, we'll go ahead and do that. I will play the audio for you. Here's a little clip. It's a little bit cut up. The audio isn't perfect, so I'll try to explain afterwards if you have questions on who's who.
Do you know how to spin a ball on your finger?
So I can do a lot of things with a basketball. A lot of things.
Try.
That's LeBron.
My thing. But you Eddie can.
Drew said he didn't think you knew how.
Come on, Drew. You know me better than that.
Davis can do it.
You think all of your teammates for USAB can do it?
Yeah.
That is the one thing that I cannot do.
As a little kid, don't you just sit here and practice this all day?
I can give you like a half a second, maybe. 1,000, 2,000.
Hallie? At the point guard, don't know how to do it? Tyrese? Oh, that's Gen Z.
I heard you can bounce it off your knee.
Who said that to you?
Do you know how to spin a ball on your finger? No?
Probably the only guy on the team who can.
Joel? That's sickening. I think we have more coordination than that.
Do you feel like you should be able to as a basketball player?
That's one of the most embarrassing things of just me. You got me nervous even thinking about spinning the ball on my finger.
That's Steph, right?
It's that.
Can't do it. I can't do it.
And there you have it.
Yeah, Steph slams the ball at the end of the video.
He says he's shook by it.
He's embarrassed. And by the way, Halliburton can't really do it
No,
either.
so that's the fourth one. He's like, can I do it for half a second? 1,000, 2,000, and then the guys are going, Hallie, our point guards can't spin the ball, so 2 point guards on that team can't do it.
Halliburton is hit or miss, but Anthony Davis is great at it. I say Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday are the two best.
Yeah,
because they can keep it going and keep spinning. Drew Holiday's like going finger to finger, back and forth.
I think of this as being like akin to like a baseball pitcher being able to like flip the ball off his elbow or something, like something so basic that, you know, not the lay person, not the average person, but the professionals who have handled a basketball their entire life. The fact that these guys can't do that, it absolutely blew me away.
Yeah, I am. I don't know who I'm more stunned by, LeBron or
Steph.
I mean, to be honest, I would say Steph. He's a point guard. He's a little guy, and he's such a good ball handler. So in all those years and all those, you know, he's got he's notorious for his ball handling drills at the warm up.
Yep.
At no point in that, you thought that to spin a ball.
I just think about all the time sitting around a gym just flipping the ball.
I remember being a dumbass kid, and that's just, you know. Yeah, that's what you did. You just spun it around because it's really not that hard to do.
No, it's physics. It's basically, and now a video has surfaced of the Harlem Globetrotters visiting the Warriors and putting a ball on Stephen Curry's finger for him so that it would spin on its own. That's the only footage anyone ever has of him spinning a ball. Huh. He didn't spin it himself. Couldn't do it. Yeah,
that's one of those weird, like, I'm always jealous of people that, and I've actually tried to do this. So maybe it is just, it's a weird mental block because I've always wanted to be able to whistle with my fingers, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I have actively set out to try. Like, I've watched YouTube videos. I cannot do it, and it drives me crazy. I was always jealous of the coaches that didn't need a whistle.
They either do like the hook that goes in there or the two pinkies or something like that.
I always thought that was super cool. I don't know why, but I always loved it. And I was like, dude, I'm going to, like, 1 year, I was like, I'm going to set out to do this. No, I gave up after like 6 months because it's pathetic.
So
I have the inability to do it.
Sounds to me that you and I can do something that LeBron and Steph Curry can't with a basketball. And to me, that is mind blowing.
See, I feel like mine is more like Halliburton's where, you know,
but again, like you said, if you spent a couple hours working on it, you'd have it back. I think it's not.
Not
climbing Everest.
You're getting a couple Mississippis. I do not think I have the ability anymore to spin it multiple times.
Sure. Well, let's move on from
the other cool one, real quick. By the way, that I spent a long time doing, and I used to be able to do it, and I haven't done it in years. Is I could roll a coin on my knuckles.
Oh.
That was another one of those dumb things that I spent a lot of time sitting around when I didn't have anything.
I can't do the one that a lot of people do where they spin the pen and it kind of goes around your thumb or finger.
That son of a bitch, Isaac Ropp, can do that phenomenally.
And I've worked with people who do it so well, and I've always been almost jealous of it. I'm like, that looks so cool and like stress relief.
Ropp does a great, like, he used to do it just, he uses his computer now, but when we started, he would handwrite his notes. I was always impressed. And he was like, really? I'm like, dude, I think that's awesome. And I wished I could. That's one of those same thing. Like, I can't do it. Tried it. Doesn't work. But I don't know. I think it was like in college, like on road trips, I would get bored and I would sit there and I would roll a coin in my fingers because I saw Mel Gibson do it in a Lethal Weapon movie.
Nice.
Except my hands aren't that big, so the cool guys can do it with poker chips.
Yeah.
I can do it with a quarter. Anything bigger than that, like I can't even really do a silver dollar. I can do it with like a nickel or a quarter, but my hands aren't that big. But the dudes with big mitts can do it with poker chips or a silver dollar. It's a baller move.
I also want it. Speaking of poker chips, I like the one that you always see when there's poker on TV. The people who can shuffle the chips with one hand, where they pick them up and then they like push them together. I've never been able to
My
do that.
dad
It always
can
looks
do
so.
that.
It always looks so cool.
He has my dad plays World Series of Poker on his iPad that he specifically bought just so he could play poker
Sounds
every
like
night.
my father-in-law.
And he does the chips. I could do the baseball bat swing, where you swing and you let your hands go and the bat flips around and you catch it.
Oh, that's
I used to
an
be able
impressive
to do
one.
that one.
Okay.
That's the only one I could ever do, though.
Yeah, little tricks like that I can do. I can do the football stuff better. I can do the roll the ball back onto my hand and then roll it back and catch it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you like because
it almost looks like a magic trick kind of.
Because when I was the center, you would always go over with the quarterbacks at the start of practice, and the quarterbacks can do all kinds of crap. I can actually spin a football better than I can a basketball. Because we would, again, stupid quarterback, which is probably the reason why I can spin a basketball a little bit. But I can do that, and I can do the throw the ball off the ground back to myself.
Oh, and that with the football.
With a football.
Because that's hard to do. Because
Yeah.
the point does not make that easy.
No. So again, standing there, I can sit there and you throw it about a yard in front of you, and you bounce it back to yourself.
Our high school quarterback could do that, but he also went on to play at Arizona State. And I've never known anybody that can do that. That's a good trick.
So I can do those simply because we would stand around with quarterbacks, and I would be like, oh, well.
Let me try.
Yeah, let me try. And then after a while, after a couple years of standing there with all those jackasses, you can do that.
Sure.
So yeah, I got better football tricks than I do basketball stuff. But yeah,
Sure.
any little weird thing like that is always, I don't know, like the pen flip or the anything that's like a stupid little parlor trick. They're kind of fun things. You
And
know?
the pen flip to me seems like the basketball equivalent of what they do in their jobs. I'm blown away that it doesn't
Next
happen
time
for 'em.
when he's back, ask Rob to do it. Again, I haven't seen him do it in years, but he was really
pen spinning
he
king.
was really good at it. I was always when he would do updates, he would sit in there and flick his pen, and it's people think it's cool. I always thought I was always impressed by that.
All right, total douche or absolute legend, golf bro edition. Plus, have participation trophies gone too far? That's next. Primetime, 1080 The Fan.
trying to think of like just whatever dumb thing, and I was like, the one thing that I'm probably the best at that you never do, but I can pick it up and it doesn't take me, I can just do it, is yo-yo. When I was a kid, my dad was a really good, like growing up in like Utah, he was like some Duncan Junior yo-yo champ. So when so when I was a kid,
Yo-yo competitions.
yeah, my dad showed me how to yo-yo, and like, I don't know, I've got like 8 or 9 tricks that I can just do, and like good ones. And most people that have a yo-yo can't even make it sleep. So it doesn't take a lot to impress someone with a yo-yo. We were over in Japan, and I was one of my nephews over there had a yo-yo, and I was like, "Oh, here, let me see that," because they were just, they don't do anything with it. They just throw it off the ground and then it goes back up. And if you can do like a handful of, like, if you can rock the cradle, you can go around the world, or like walk the dog. People think that's really cool for some reason.
It is
like little kids are like, "Oh my god!"
It's because it's visually appealing.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, I can tie a cherry stem in a knot with my tongue. It's like, okay, then you watch someone like wrestle around with their own mouth for a while. Great, that's not cool. But you see the little visual effects of the walking the dog and all that.
That is probably
cool.
the most meaningless, stupid thing that I can actually do and do well, and it doesn't take me a long time to pick up. You just give me a yo-yo, and as long as you undo the string so it sleeps. Most people that have the yo-yo, the string's just too tight. And so they're like, "Oh, how do you make it sleep?" I'm like, "Undo the string." You have to kind of pull it apart. And then once the string isn't knotted anymore, then you can make it sleep. And once you can make it sleep, it's like real easy to do.
Well, let's get to Golf Bro, because
what's up, Golf Bro?
I read this story and I haven't totally decided whether I think this guy is awesome or thinks this guy totally sucks, or maybe a little bit of both somehow.
I'm golf guy. I'm always torn on because I really like to play golf and it's fun to go on golf trips. But can we admit that there's no bigger douchey group than golf bros out doing golf bro things?
100%.
It's like the most embarrassing thing that a group of men can get to do, and yet it's super fun. But even when you're doing it, you're like, yeah, this is really it's really douchey. It's like a bunch of cosplayers out there like, "Yeah, man, we're going to Vegas, go play some golf." And you're like, "Oh my God."
There's this weird element of like when we, like, you specifically referenced the cosplaying. Like if you wear gear that's a little bit like the pros who do it, you start feeling that way yourself. And like there's a whole bravado to it.
It is. And it's just, it's a lot. And it's a lot, but it's fun. But God, like it's one of the funner things you can do, but it's also one of the most embarrassing things to do if you do it with a bunch of your buddies. And the bros that take it way too seriously. And you know who you are, by the way. Lighten up, okay?
Definitely. So
you're not playing on any tours. It's not for the US Open. Lighten up.
I'm not sure this is a guy who takes it too seriously, but he's certainly brash and brazen with how he thinks of himself. This is from Reddit. It comes from the subreddit of golf travel and golf tips. And the person writes, "I played a scramble yesterday, and one of our guys is a scratch golfer. Every year, this scramble gives you a chance at winning a free car if you hit a hole-in-one on the par 3 7th hole. Right. Anyway, my buddy ends up Ubering to the course. I ask him why, and he says,
"Oh my God,
because I'm leaving in the par 3 car."
Oh, jeez.
And he says, yes, he's that kind of douche. Sure enough, he's striking it all day. We get to the hole. It was playing 167, and he goes, "I'm just wondering, where are the keys at?" to the people manning the hole. And then he pures it. The ball takes one hop past the pin, spins back right in the damn hole.
Oh my God.
I didn't think they'd actually let him take the car home that day, but they did. Gave him the keys, and now his license plate says Ace Man, and everyone in town calls him this.
Okay. Let me state for the record. Okay, that's badass. It really is. That is impressive. But again, much like I was saying with your golf trip, super fun. That's the douchiest dude of all time. One, I would refuse to call you Ace Man. And the fact that you want people to call you Ace Man, you're the biggest jackwagon like in the world. Like seriously, that's it. You have a license plate that says Ace Man.
After you got the car with an ace.
I don't care. You're an absolute jackass. And one of these days you're going to piss someone off and they're going to give you a 5-iron to the teeth. Just
the gall?
The gall. It's an amazing story.
This guy rocks.
But to Uber to the thing because you're like, because I'm winning the car.
That is some Larry Bird BS, like which one of you boys is shooting for second place?
Yeah.
The amount of balls that it takes to do that, and you actually do it, like I said, beyond impressive, and it's freaking awesome. That being said, you're still a giant. And I would tell it anytime I saw him, I'd be like, dude,
You're such a douche.
That was an amazing feat, dude. You're a badass, but at the same time, oh my God, you're a douche. You know you're a douche. Your car is douchey. Your license plate's douchey. Everything about this is douchey, but it's a great story.
He seems like the guy who knows it and doesn't care.
Yeah.
And I think we all have a couple of those where you're like, God, this guy's at it again. But yeah, that's just him, and you take it because
Yeah, someone's saying more douchey, crazy golf guy or insane softball guy. It's the same person. It's absolutely the same person. The guy that wears baseball pants to softball and has like a $1,000 bat and wears eye black, it's the same guy that wears Tiger Woods black and red when he goes to a course because he's going to dominate, or he Ubers to a course because he's driving home.
He's going to win the free car.
It's the same thing. And by the way, softball guy is usually a really good softball player.
Yeah.
He's usually the best softball player.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're not a douche.
Yeah, letting
They're
everyone
not
know is what makes you a douche.
They're
Yeah.
not independent of each. They're not independent of each other.
I like that he doubled down twice. The Uber, and then he gets to the T. Where are the keys? You guys got the keys? Where are they at?
Is there
Ace Man.
Is there a photo of Ace Man?
I don't know.
'Cause
I haven't
in my-
found one.
Much like the South Carolina guy that blew his head off with a firework, like I knew exactly what that guy looked like. I 100% know what Ace Man. 100% know what this guy looks like. I can see him, and I think we all can see him. When we shut our eyes, we all know what Ace Man is bringing to the table.
I'm trying to find Ace Man, but what I'm getting is a lot of hits for Ace Man, who is a professional disc golfer. Different kind of Ace Man. His aces coming in the baskets with the discs.
This guy looks like Bradley Cooper in The Hangover. That's exactly
Yes.
what he looks like.
Yes, and he's a sales bro. He's got an artificial tan.
He's wearing the stubble, but like it's intentionally manicured.
Like
Aviators.
His shirt is G4. You know, he's not wearing Nike stuff. It's G4.
He might even have like nice Jordan golf shoes that are really clean.
Maybe some
ones.
Maybe some Grayson gear on. Absolutely. He's playing he's playing TaylorMade.
Won't pick up the tab at the bar, but will let you know what he's drinking.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
This guy kind of rocks. I want to play golf with him. I don't want to hang out with him. I want to golf with him.
I think it can be both. I think he can be a total douche, and I think he can be the guy that you want to roll with in your crew.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're not independent of each other. See, being a douche isn't necessarily a terrible thing. Like there's plenty of douchey guys that are fun to hang out with, but it's still douchey.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it just is. Like if you're walking around with I don't know, let's say you're walking around with like Conor McGregor, right? Like seriously, like that guy, 99% of the people on the planet he would wipe the floor with.
Yeah.
And that guy's worth like $400 million. He's a good-looking guy. And he probably is the douchiest human being on the planet. But you know that if you hung out with that guy for like 2 minutes, you'd have a man crush on you. You'd be like, oh my God, this is the coolest dude in the world. But you'd also realize that everything about him is douchey. They can be
not mutually exclusive.
They're not mutually exclusive. It's just sometimes it works that way.
Well, the legend of Ace Man lives, certainly not one that I will forget. But coming up, it's time to go in the news where we'll talk about a local gym class instructor grifting his students and a local police bust for a stolen toy ring. It's coming up. But first, Ortner with SportsCenter. Of days, so let's get right to it. It is Tuesday, July 9th, and it is time for In the News. Of course, happy birthday once again to our very own Isaac Ropp.
Yes, fearless leader.
He is how old today, we think?
See, I think
60?
Rupp is 49. I don't think he's 50 yet. I think
We would know if he was hitting the big 5-0.
I would think, although he doesn't
Well, maybe
doesn't
not.
care about birthdays. He plays them close to the chest, but I believe he's 3 years older than me, so I think he's 49. 46 and 49.
Well, today is Argentina Independence Day. Significant only because it makes me wonder, should I bet Argentina in the Copa tonight?
I can't. I have to hate Argentina because I was drinking with the Chilean soccer bros.
Oh, okay.
And they were badass, and they hate Argentina. So
Tell you what, Team Canada, pretty plucky. That's who they're playing tonight
All right,
in
well.
the semis.
yeah, but Argentina.
I know, they're the favorites.
Come on.
Yeah. It's also Fashion Day. I see that you're in your most fashionable gear. A little chest meat out, just flashing the jewelry.
It's 'cause like 8 million degrees outside.
I
I'm
know.
a big fan of the summer lightweight button up. It's a go-to for
I've
me.
adopted it.
Yeah.
This is my
Oh, yeah,
first
look at
year
you
of the button ups.
twinsies.
It's come around.
Once you go to a nice
Souk and mini Souk.
like
Both go
soft
open collar today.
fabric summer button up.
Yep.
Dude, you won't go back. It's the summertime go-to.
Nice light. I go with that look a lot on vacation. I'm more of a t-shirt guy otherwise.
They're way more comfortable than t-shirts, and you don't look as I don't know. They're as comfortable.
Say it!
They're more comfortable than t-shirts, but you look better because
Yeah.
you're not wearing.
It's a slightly classier.
Yes.
Additionally, it is Don't Put All Your Eggs in One Omelet Day.
Oh.
I don't
isn't that
know
a-
if it's just the
isn't that a-
metaphor for
isn't
all
that
in
a
one
basket?
basket, or is it saying don't make your omelets too big? I don't know. I'm more of a scramble guy anyways.
Yeah, omelet scrambles. Like, is it really much of a difference?
It's National Dimples Day. My little baby has dimples.
Yeah.
And it's Cow Appreciation Day.
I do like. I like now that. Have you seen all the mini Highland cows going around?
I haven't.
I want to get a mini cow. Like, that's the new trend, is everyone's getting mini cows as pets.
I'm
and
into
they're
it.
Adorable.
I've seen teacup pigs that are little tiny miniature pigs. I think those are pretty great too.
Dude, I'm telling you, look up mini Highland cows. I want one. Like,
Mini Highland cows.
Oh,
I
they're
will
like-
do that in the break.
It's like the long, shaggy cows, but they're miniature, and they're just the cutest damn thing ever.
And then we actually do have some news today. The end of the heat wave supposedly coming tomorrow. It's supposed to dip back into the low 90s, but the heat has obviously wreaked some havoc on the area. I believe that we are now up to 6 deaths in the state of Oregon that we believe are heat related. I think 5 in the Portland surrounding area and 1 elsewhere. But you talked about it yesterday or the day before. If you need help, if you need support, if you need cooling, like, take care of your olds, take care of the people who might not have it, because
Yeah,
there are consequences.
There's cooling centers everywhere, but it's again, if you're a 40-year-old man, please don't complain about the heat. Suck it up. I get it. It's warm, but when the old, the sick, the really young, people die every year, and that just sucks. So that's why I said, just check in on grandma, or if you have a neighbor that you know of. It's just because most of the time it's just, unfortunately, it's just someone that doesn't have anyone, and they're sitting in a cramped apartment somewhere with no AC, and down it goes.
It was just the other day that you were talking about Molten Falls.
Yeah.
Did you see this story? A man fell from a cliff below the bridge at Molten Falls and lived.
Well, yeah. If you've ever been to Molten Falls, it's
I
up
have
in
not.
The
Washington.
cliffs are not. It depends on which cliff
Yeah.
there is, but the bridge is where you're scared.
Yeah,
like
the-
you could
the-
fall.
The
and hurt
bridge is
yourself.
high to where you'll actually get a ticket if you try to jump off it, because people can get really hurt. I think it's like 65, 70 feet.
That sounds right.
But the cliffs, people go up and jump off. When we were kids, we used to do that all the time. And there's varying degrees. You can jump off everything from like 5 feet up to there's some that are like 25 or 30, and it's not too bad. But yeah, the water is really deep. So as long as you didn't hit some rocks on the way down, you should be okay.
And that's just it. It says after he fell off a cliff below the bridge, he hit rocks at the bottom and then fell into the water. Yeah. He was airlifted with traumatic injuries. Thankfully, 2 of the other people around were an off-duty ER nurse and a Cowlitz County fire EMT. Good people to have with you when you fall.
Yeah, it's it can be dangerous up there, because a lot of people get the rocks can get wet, or your feet are wet, or you're drunk and whatever. And that water, by the way, is ice effing cold. That's the scary part is people go up there the first day it gets hot, and that water comes right off the mountain, and it is, I guarantee that water right now is freezing ass cold. And so you're like, oh, it's 100 degrees, and you jump in, and it just takes your breath away. It's a dangerous spot.
I belly flopped off one of the smaller cliffs, thinking like, oh, ha ha ha, this will be funny. I had a nice bruise on my chest for about a week.
Ooh,
yeah, don't do it.
It's a fun spot, but it can be dangerous.
Well, the other thing the heat has given way to is Portland's camping ban. Did you know?
No.
We spent a lot of time on this program talking about it. They have lifted the camping ban during the heat. I guess because I don't know why. And I'm not sure why you would need to.
They've lifted the burn ban, or
no,
just
the camping ban.
So we can
like people, the camping outside, the tents, all that. They're not going to displace people during the heat. I guess, and they're not going to send their own workers out there to clean up camps and move tents.
Wouldn't it be better to get them inside? Because
I would
it's
think
100
so.
Degrees? Wouldn't we want to get them into shelters and places where there's? I don't know, man. Sometimes the stuff makes no sense to me whatsoever, but.
I don't understand why these two things would necessarily be connected, but apparently they have said, a spokesperson for the city has said that the weather will determine when that ban is reestablished. So it's not, there's no end date. Just as long as it's too hot, we're not going to round up the encampments.
Is any of the homeless people right now, is anyone aware? They're like, hey guys, we can keep this going for another couple days because it's really hot. By the way, I rode by the homeless camp by my gym today. Yeah, it's business as usual. Now that is in Vancouver, but yeah, it was business as usual. Saw some people smoking meth and just kind of hanging out, doing the thing, trying to stay cool in the shade.
The mayor's office would not talk with KGW on camera about it Monday, but said it's all part of the city's camp removal policy. City Commissioner and mayoral candidate Mingus Maps sent the following statement saying, while it is a normal city procedure during extreme weather to not enforce camping bans, I want to take the opportunity to urge people to go to cooling centers, find shade, and stay out of the direct sun as much as possible. We already had tragedy with heat-related deaths this weekend, and we are only really beginning the summer heat waves.
Do you really need to encourage people, like, when that common sense?
If they're opening cooling
really
centers to
hot.
anyone, why wouldn't you go if you didn't have a place? Yeah.
I saw people today, it was blowing my mind. I saw people today wearing like sweatshirts and
No.
Yes.
Where?
Down in the encampments. Like Will knows, like right across the street from our gym, there's it's a wonderful encampment. I saw some bros walking around down there like in jeans and like a hoodie. One of them had a mask on. It was a whole thing. I was like, oh my gosh. I think like sometimes you get into like that group and it's like teenagers. They're not going to let the weather determine how they dress. Or maybe they didn't have anything else. I don't
Going
know.
full sweatshirt.
I think that you're onto something there.
Man had like on like army pants and a full on like black hoodie. I was kind of like, whoa. I don't know, it kind of threw me for a loop.
I am the last person for that. I don't understand. Even when it comes to fashion, I would be dripping if I made that decision.
It's fascinating because you see punk kids, and the punk kid will not let the weather determine. It's why you see dumbass kids when it's like 9 degrees outside wearing shorts.
Me.
Yeah, they're like, oh, screw that, I'm wearing shorts. And then in the middle of summer, I see it all the time. I see punk kids wearing like full-on coats and like baggy jeans.
Yes,
when it's like
heavy
95.
baggy Dickies jeans. I don't get it.
Because punk kids, that's what being punk's about.
But
I want to wear my black jeans and this heavy coat, and I'll be damned.
But to me,
if I'm gonna let Mother Nature tell me that
they
I
never
can't.
look sweaty though. I would actively sweat just passively sitting there.
Then you're not punk.
I clearly am not.
That's why I wore shorts always. It was like, hey, it might be snowing, but I'm going to be in class.
See? I'm telling you, dude, kids, they don't give a rip.
Find out what a local gym class instructor and Jamarcus Russell have in common. That's coming up next in the news on The Fan.
This is The Fan's window into sports.
Tuesday, July 9th. A couple more stories for you before we get into the 5 o'clock hour. Which one do you want to go with first, Suk? You got two options here. You've got local gym class instructor makes like Jamarcus Russell, or you've got local police bust on stolen toy ring.
Big fan on both here, but I got to go with gym teacher. Let's honor the great Mr. Dick Benedict, who was my gym teacher.
Well, this comes to us very local, Slabtown here in Portland. The Orange Theory branch or location here had their coach fired, and the company had to promise to give back $17,000 to charities after missing donations were reported.
Uh-oh.
So the Jamarcus Russell-esque situation going on is that under the guise of Orange Theory, class teacher, or I guess they call him Orange Theory coach, Ryan Tong, also known as Coach Rai Rai.
Rai.
He was under the guise of Orange Theory setting up donations to charities, local nonprofits from all the way going back to COVID times, and turned out no one was getting any money.
People were just donated in Orange Theory to him?
In one post, the studio claimed to have raised more than $500,000 for charities over the past few years.
Oh.
Says that KGW investigation revealed at least 12 nonprofits that never received donations from the Orange Theory classes, despite being named as beneficiaries.
Whoops. By the way, I wonder how often this happens. Like, I'm just naturally a skeptic, but I all the time see, like, you know, hey, do you want to donate? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know where this is going. So the answer to that is going to be no. Turns out it's going to Ray Ray's pocket.
Says that the company said Tong lied about matching donations, and he often inflated, grossly overstating the amount of money that was raised and made. And then based on Venmo screenshots, the money that got sent to Honors Holdings from studio members, the company calculated there was about $12,000 in missing donations. So
okay, so
it was never $500,000, but he was doing this to get more people to donate. Look how much we're doing for the community. And he's like posting videos. We're going to support these local nonprofits, blah, blah, blah. He's running the holdings. He's taking it off. So
I just want everyone to know, if you've been donating to an Orange Theory, you can donate directly to me, and I will make sure your money goes to somewhere important. I just trust me, your money's going to a good place. It's worthy causes, I promise.
Help out a local mid-20-year-old find a safer place to live.
Is there anything more? I mean, I know there is, but like one of the lowest forms I can think of is raising money for...
Yeah, under the banner of charity
under
and then
the
taking it
banner
for
of
yourself.
charity and taking it. Like, what a... Especially, like, you know, what was he raising? What was this charity for?
Well, he basically, they are paying out 17 different charities that he named because he listed all of them as people that would be getting donations.
You know, it's
like local nonprofits. So I'm guessing small charities around Portland or the Portland area.
It's just, it's amazing if you think about it, you're raising money for like children's cancer, or, you know, some ALS thing or whatever. It'd be like if we're selling, by the way, plug again, the Mike Lynch Swinge ALS t-shirts.
Yes.
We got another note today. They're like flying off the shelf.
Yeah.
So go to 10tothefan.com, go to the merch locker up in the right-hand corner. You'll see it. We have all of our t-shirts for sale, but if you're going to order one, you should order all of them. They're great shirts. All the shows have them. The Mike Lynch t-shirt, every dollar that's on there goes to Mike Lynch directly. That'd be like if we were doing that, and we've been told that so many of you are buying those shirts, like $25. Like, you imagine, like I would cause someone physical harm if I found out that some piece of S was taking that money and keeping it. I would seriously hurt someone. Like, what sort of scum do you have to be? Like, oh yeah, we're raising money for charity, and by charity I mean me.
Well, I have been able to find that KGW actually confirmed some of the organizations that were said to have received donations that never did, and the plot thickens because one of them has connections to this very show.
Dun dun dun. What is
the
it?
Harrington Family Foundation.
Really? So he was using Joey's name to raise money.
Yep.
And then
said, yeah, we donated money to this foundation. And Joey's foundation was among 12 that said, we never got any money from any Orange Theory anything.
And that's what I said. Like, it sucks, but when it comes to charity stuff, you really do have to pay attention to where your money goes.
Yeah.
Because and a lot of celebrities and athletes do this, where they start charities, and it's just ways to funnel money.
It's grifting.
It's grifting. It's a way to funnel money into, like, mom and dad or their brother's pocket, and then they don't give anything to charity. They just use that money to pay off family members so they don't have to pay them.
Well, isn't it like when you look up a charity, there's a certain type where
Yes.
it's listed as a charity, but really it's like 50-50, like half goes to charity, half goes to the people running it.
You know, it's one thing if you're donating a few bucks, but if you're making a significant donation, I'm telling you, go look. There's a whole, you can look it up, and everyone's got this is information. You can find out how much money goes to actual, the needy, or how much goes to administrative costs. Just be aware that not all charities are created
If
equal.
you care enough to give, do a tiny bit of homework first.
Yes.
So no, it's not saying exactly what he's going to be charged with criminally, but I imagine that is forthcoming.
Well, again, let's hope that he gets ball cancer or something, because he deserves it, because that dude sucks.
We also had a toy bust, I guess you would say. An illegal toy ring of stolen goods busted down in Eugene.
Oh.
And let's see, let's pull it up
People
right
still buying
over
toys?
here. Yeah, so
Legos are big.
Some hot Lego talk.
Legos. This was in Lane County, and there was a search warrant issued on July 3rd for Brick Builders, a Lego-esque store in the Springfield Police Department and the Crime Reduction Unit, after a lengthy investigation, found out the owner was buying knowingly stolen Legos to put in his store, stolen from other stores, unopened sets that he could sell for wild profits. It wasn't just a couple Legos.
No, he's
4,153 different sets of Legos worth over $200,000.
I was gonna say Legos are expensive. My kid used to really like Legos, and he would ask for them for Christmas. Some of those Lego sets are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Those are, and some of the bigger ones are thousands. That's a big deal. People love the Legos.
It says that Springfield Police Department partnered with the loss prevention investigators from Target, Fred Meyer, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart, all to confirm that Ammon Hendrickson was purchasing sets that were stolen from those aforementioned retailers. So there were a bunch of people all reporting stolen Legos, and they're like, wait a second, where are these going?
It's like when you look on like Facebook Marketplace and some dude has like 17 vacuums for sale, all in like the box. You're like, hey, where'd those vacuums come from? Don't worry about it.
I always love to.
It's a great discount. Don't ask questions.
When the police bust, when they get a bunch of drugs or guns and they stand in front of them, they like look all cool. Look at these guys standing in front of all the Lego bust.
Oh yeah.
And then there's another photo that shows them loading them into the U-Haul. These are going to fill up an entire U-Haul truck. So quite the scam that Ammon Hendrickson had going on, but has been found out by great work from the Springfield Police Department.
Well, it's a big deal, man. Like there was you don't think about it, but hundreds of thousands of dollars. And someone's saying at Target now all the Legos are locked up. People were doing this with like bike rings, and it
happens with shoes.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoes are a thing. I saw someone busted like a couple $1 million worth of counterfeit like Nike gear that came over. I mean, it's not victimless crimes. There's always that idea of like, well, it's a big corporation, so who cares? Well, again, that's the mentality that we get into, where now seemingly no one gives a rip about anything and we just take whatever we want.
That'll do it for In the News, July 9th. Coming up next, the Hot 5 at 5, plus we will have the Steed Cream Roper Presents Fake Baseball Name Game. It's coming up in the 5 o'clock hour on Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
Hey,
Or the Steed Cream Roper presents Baseball Fake Name Game. We'll have Suk and Ortner decide what's real and what's not when it comes to baseball names.
It's the greatest fake name of all time.
I still can't believe I said it was real news.
Well, look, when you said it, I was like, oh,
dang,
must be real. You never know. I mean, there was a guy who was like the coldest to ever do it.
Yeah.
Dude, there's no end to what parents will name their kids nowadays.
People get reminded there was an actual athlete named DeBrickashaw, and he was really good at football.
Yeah. It was God Shamgod was another one. There's all kinds of things out there. You see it every year where like parents now, and look, my kids have interesting names too, but there's parents taking liberties with names left and right. So, Cream Steam Roper or Steam Roper, yeah, that wouldn't shock me. If you told me that guy played baseball at like Wyoming, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Also coming up this hour, might want to get into what Mike Gundy said. One of his best players, if not his best player, was in some trouble, and Gundy doesn't seem to have much of an issue with it.
No.
Also, this may be today, this may be tomorrow, but back in the 80s, a couple star athletes from 4 different sports got together for a race. I want you to guess who would win. We have the footage, but before we get to any of that, it's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
Hot topics, hot opinions.
Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
And hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victorico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Online at victoricos.com. Number 5.
Number 5, following up on some sad news from yesterday, the Oregon Ducks are going to be holding a vigil for Kyrie Jackson. That's happening tomorrow at Autzen Stadium. It's a candlelight vigil. It'll be at 8 o'clock. It will be open to the public. People can come in as early as 7:30. The Ducks are going to be providing candles for anybody there, and you're also welcome to bring your own. So if you are in the Eugene area, have any desire to pay tribute to the young man who tragically lost his life in an auto accident over the weekend, the Ducks and the U of O will be paying tribute to Kyrie on Wednesday evening.
Classy move.
Very nice.
Number 4.
Number 4, let's move back over across the pond to Wimbledon. There were some matches today that were significant. A 5-setter that saw the number 1 overall seed Yannick Sinner go down to Daniil Medvedev. By the way, I see here that ESPN has the Russian flag up for Medvedev.
Oh, but Wimbledon will not.
Wimbledon will not. Also, American Tommy Paul, the 12 seed. He won his first set against Carlos Alcaraz, but ended up falling in 4 sets. On the women's side, 19 seed Emma Navarro was in the quarters for the USA, but she fell to Jasmine Paolini, the 7 seed, 6-2, 6-1.
I know who none of these people are. Once again, tennis is so far off my radar. It's sad because I like tennis. I know like 3 tennis players that compete anymore.
I'm trying to find you the next matchup in which you might know somebody who's playing, and I'm not having a lot of luck right now.
It's not working.
No.
So.
Number 3.
Couple NBA news and notes. We have a new contract for Pistons star Cade Cunningham. He gets the rookie max deal. Also saw today, and I did not know that he was, I guess I knew that he was in the college game at one point in time, but Jerry Stackhouse, now an NBA assistant with the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, all right.
Guess he's been down in Vegas. He's been hanging out around Team USA. But going back to the Pistons and Cade Cunningham for a second, that's a 5-year, $224 million extension.
Well, yeah, Cade Cunningham, dude, he's like a 23-8 guy, and yet I have no idea if he's good or not. Because he plays in Detroit. They're the worst damn team.
And they keep having the worst luck. They keep getting the 5 pick in the draft instead of the 1 pick.
I couldn't tell you. I just know that he has good numbers. And I remember him from Oklahoma State. I remember they lost to the Beavs that one year. But like I've seen 7 seconds of Cade Cunningham because he plays in Detroit.
Well,
that has become like a wasteland.
You brought it up the other day. It's like he could be a Tobias Harris. So it's like he's just a dude who gets buckets, who's stealing money, or he might be really good. We don't know. Number 2, a little bit of college football news, and we'll get to this coming up later in the hour, but Oklahoma State apparently not going to suspend Ollie Gordon, the Doak Walker Award winner.
And I love college football. This is This is an LSU SEC type move. You get a DUI, we're like, ah, we all get them.
Yeah, Ollie Gordon, the running back from Oklahoma State, who was the best running back in the nation last year, was pulled over with a half bottle of vodka and a half bottle of tequila in the passenger seat. And his coach essentially punting on it, saying, well, we're not going to punish the whole program.
Jeez Louise. You want to talk about having some absolute balls from Mike Gunn? He's like, yeah. And his explanation was, basically, we all make bad decisions, so why should we face consequences?
And then one note for Beavs football, but linebacker Mason Tufaga is retiring from football. He was a transfer from Utah in 2022 and did not end up playing it down with Oregon State. I believe he had some injury issues, and so he is hanging them up.
That's sad. I also heard, too, there's a rumor going on. Is Oregon State getting new unis?
I saw something on the Vancouver Ford text line about this very thing. I read from our little tipster here that I think Friday at 8 o'clock or something, they're getting some new threads. I hadn't heard about that. Certainly something we can and should dig into further.
The Orange O guy who seems to be up on everything, all Beavers, he always DMs me. He says that they're getting released on Friday.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Orange guy says that it's happening,
it's probably happening.
Orange guy would know.
Yeah.
So,
Orange O guy.
Orange O guy. Yeah, dude, that dude is Mr. When it comes to the Portland Winterhawks, the Oregon State Beavers, trust that dude. So we could get some new BVs.
Nice guy, too.
And then number one, it's not as popular here, but it's the biggest thing going on in the rest of the world. The Euros semis. We had one of them today, one of them tomorrow. Today, the Spanish win 2-1 over the French. The 16-year-old Lamine Yamal with the incredible goal that equalized things. And then we'll also wait for the status of Alvaro Morata after he got wiped out by a security guard post-match. Spain will play the winner of England and the Netherlands, who play tomorrow. Copa America, meanwhile, going on right now. Stuke's got it on behind me. Argentina, who is a top seed along with Uruguay, taking on Canada. Canada's plucky, man. They're not bad.
Let me just say this. After partying with the Chilean soccer bros up at Jerry's Tavern, screw Argentina. And, I love my brothers from the Great White North. Go Canada. Kiss my ass, Argentina.
Oh, Canada, it is. We are now running a little bit early, but that gives us plenty of time for Steed Creamroper Presents the baseball fake or real name game. That's next on 1080 The Fan.
The home of
As part of the reason is I forgot to tell you all that, of course, that Hot 5 at 5 brought to you by Victor Rico's Mexican Food. Of course, the best burrito spot in all of Oregon. You can visit them at victorricos.com.
I prefer the street tacos, but that's just me.
I really like their taco salad. They do one of those tostada shells on the on the end, so it's like you feel like you're having a salad, but you get a little chip and dip at the end.
I don't like to mix my tacos and salad. It's one of those. I'm not gonna lie to myself, pretend like.
I think I'm just adding a bunch of roughage to what is usually basically just taco ingredients.
Just throw a taco on there. Just throw some lettuce in there. You'll be fine.
Well, there was a time months ago on this show in which I reported a tweet. It was from an account called Productive Outs. I thought it was a legitimate baseball account, and it said something along the lines of the Rockies acquiring, a fifth-round pick, or trading for minor leaguer, or activating an individual. I don't remember what the exact transaction was. What I do remember was that the Rockies had something to do with a player named Steed Creamroper. And I told you fine gentlemen about it.
Steed Creamroper.
When we were talking about great sports names, I'm like, oh, I just saw this one. God. Well, it wasn't real.
It should
You got buried.
Yeah, you got ball sacked. Look, I don't know if there is a man out there named Creed Steamroper, but if there isn't,
hold on. It's Steed Creamroper, but you're going with Creed. Wait, what was that? Because that one was good too.
Creed Steamroper.
Creed Steamroper is another good one.
Someone this goes back to my theory of we should all be able to pick our names. Like, see, Josh Allen changed his name, not the
defensive,
not the quarterback, Josh Allen,
lineman,
the defensive end outside linebacker. He's now Josh Hines Allen. We at some point, like when we're like 21, we should all get to when you become like an illegal adult or 18, we should all just pick our name.
I kind of like that idea.
And we would end up with more. We'd end up with more Steamropers out there. Some bro. Will has a friend that I guarantee would pick the last name of Steamroper.
I had a buddy who gave himself the nickname of B-Storm, so that would happen.
B-Storm beats
B-Storm.
B-Storm Creamroper. There you go. Well, I mean, you do it in Hollywood all the time. Bruno Mars ain't that guy's name.
Rip Torn.
Nicolas Cage. What was it? Vin Diesel. That may be the most ridiculous name of all time. That jackass. He was like,
and his real name.
I'm going by the name of Vin Diesel.
And you know what it actually is?
It's something ridiculous, I'm sure.
Mark Sinclair.
Yeah, Mark Sinclair, and he named himself Vin Diesel. Well, John Wayne, I think, is Marion, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I go by Marion.
And I knew that Tom Cruise was Tom Mapother IV. Mapother, not exactly the same ring to it as Cruise.
Yeah, John Wayne was Marion Morrison. It doesn't have this.
Sounds like a female film star.
Yeah, the Duke doesn't. It doesn't quite work. Who wants to be Marion Morrison and grab a root and hang on? No, who wants to be John Wayne? It works.
So while I was prepping for some non-football dog days of summer content, I came across a Twitter thread of actual baseball names, many of which sounded akin to Steed Creamroper, to Cream Steamroper, to anything like that. And so I wanted to play a game with you. I've come up with 21 names. About half are real, about half are fake.
Okay.
And you and Will have to determine which are real, which are fake. If you get 11 of them right, there's 21. We like gambling. If you get 11 out of 21, that's better than 50%. You've got about a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how you can do. Will, the music, please.
I'm guessing these are going to be like old-timey baseball players.
Some of them are old-timey. Some of them are more recent than you might think.
Old-timey baseball players had the best names, whether they were like made up like nicknames or not. The old-timey people were like Otiphus Blamthorpe was like out there throwing the slurve for the Washington Nationals.
There's some that are recent enough that I remember, and I'm not going to include this one because I think if it were fake, I couldn't say it. Because it's real, I can. This guy was a pitching coach for the A's for a while. His name was Dick Pohl.
That's a great
name. And that's a real name.
Well, it's like the great Dick Pound for the IOC.
Well, there you go.
And I remember Mets legend Rusty Kuntz.
Yes, exactly right. I almost put that on this list, and he was more recent.
He was in MLB like in the 80s.
I see him right here in that very thread. Born in 1955, 6'3", 190. Won the '84 series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one for you guys. Sugar cane. Real or fake?
Sugar cane.
So we're saying these aren't like Nick, like Oil Can Boyd. Someone's real name was Sugar. This is like Magic Johnson.
This is how they are in Baseball Reference. How they appeared on a lineup card. How they appeared in your programs.
I'll bet you with the last name of Kane, I'm guessing Sugar Cane is real. I'm going real. It's not his real name, but it's, you know, it's
like Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Exactly. I'm going Sugar Cane is real.
I'm with you on that.
1 for 1. Sugar cane was in fact a real person.
That's a cool name. If your last name is Kane, you can do a lot worse by going by Sugar. And by the way, Sugar might be the best, like the most used nickname of all time.
Yeah.
Like every fighter is named Sugar
Sean.
Yeah. Sugar Sean
Sean,
O'Malley,
Sugar
got
Shane.
Sugar Shane Mosley, Sugar Ray Leonard, you know.
Sugar Cane had a career record as a starting pitcher of 53-60 with an ERA of 4.83, born in Macon, Georgia in 1907. The next one.
Macon, Georgia from 1907. I wonder what his views were.
I bet he wasn't
I wonder if that was problematic.
harvesting his own sugar cane is my guess.
No, I got a good look at what I got a good idea what he looks like.
All right, next one, real or fake? Vito pajamas.
Vito pajamas.
That's not real.
That's not. You can't have the last name of pajamas.
No one's, but also no one's. Oh yeah, no, I'm with you.
I'm going.
No pajamas.
The first name's fine, but there's no way that someone's. I'm not buying pajamas.
You are correct. Vito pajamas, not a real name. We continue. How about Urban Shocker?
It's so stupid that you want to say that it's real. There's no way. Urban Shocker?
I don't know, dude. I think this might be real. We've got an Urban Meyer, and he likes the Shocker.
It's so ridiculous. I'm going to say it's real simply because it sounds too dumb to make up. Urban Shocker.
It is real.
The old Urban Shocker. Now, is there a difference between the regular, like the country Shocker and the Urban Shocker?
I don't know. This Urban Shocker was a starting pitcher, record of 187-17, career ERA of 3.17, won the 1927 World Series.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, the old Shocker.
Also
brought
pretty
the
good.
heat.
You guys are 3 for 3. So reminder, all of these names, I haven't come up with any of them. They're either from Productive Outs, the account that ball sacked me, or they're from Baseball Reference, and they are real.
All right.
Next one, Orval Overall.
That sounds real to me.
Is it Redenbacher's brother?
Yeah, that sounds old-timey baseball. It probably means it's made up, but it sounds old-timey baseball. Like he pitched for the Black Sox at some point. I'm going real.
I'm gonna go fake. It just too much alliteration.
Well, I'm giving you guys a team score, so you're gonna have to pick real or fake.
All right, I'll jump on with the old guy.
Yeah, we go with it. Sounds real.
4 for 4, Orval Overall, very much a real person. Born in 1881 in Farmsville, California. He had a career ERA of 2.26, career record of 108-71.
See, people give like crap to people's names nowadays. Dude, in the olden days, they were just as bad.
00.
Another one for you guys. How about Stubby Clapp?
I so want a friend of mine to be named Stubby Clapp. Again, that sounds like an old-timey baseball name. It sounds like old Stubby Clapp on the mound. I'm going real. I'm going to say Stubby Clapp pitched.
I'll side with you on that.
Stubby Clapp real and played more recently than you thought.
Oh,
He was
really?
born in 1973. He's a Canadian. Came up for a cup of coffee. He's only had 25 major league at-bats, but he's very much a real person.
Stubby Clapp.
You guys are 5 for
I
5.
want to drink with Stubby Clapp.
Yeah, 100%.
Next up, Stroke Longwood.
No. Zero chance. Zero chance. But
It's
that's
someone's name, but it's not a baseball
that
player.
is as bad as Steam Roper. What did you? One more time?
Stroke Longwood.
Creed Steam-Roper.
Stroke Longwood and Cream Steam Roper. Sounds like that's like a Boogie Nights. It's like Chess Rockwell and Dirk Diggler. Stroke Longwood?
Yeah.
Dude, that guy's my hero. I'm gonna use that as an alias. Nice to meet you. My name's My name's Stroke Longwood.
You're calling fake?
That's fake. There's no way.
You're correct. It's fake. And you guys are 6 for 6. How about Mysterious Walker?
That seems real.
Yeah, that seems real. It's not as absurd. It's a stupid name, but I'll say that's real.
7 for 7. He was a pitcher. He went 7-23. He wasn't very good. His stuff wasn't mysterious. ERA of 4. Yeah. How about Hork McClusker?
That has to be real.
Is he
You
really?
can't make up. See, some of them like the
Hork?
Stroke Longwood. Obviously, is just it's funny and someone made that up. No one's making up
Hork McCluster.
Hork McCluster?
Yeah.
Cousin to Hawk Tua.
God, first off, I love that name, Hork McCluster. Anything with McCluster or McCloskey, those are just great names. That's real. He's real.
Oh! First one, the gotcha. Hork McCluster, not a real baseball player.
That is a great name, by the way. I want to name my dog Hork McCluster.
How about
McGarnacle.
How about Bud Weiser?
That's real.
Bud, right? You know,
I'm
Bud,
pretty sure that's real.
I'm going with Will because he seems to have he knows who Bud Weiser is.
Correct, a career outfielder and pinch hitter. Only had 78 career at bats. He was born in 1891.
Wow,
Bud Weiser.
That's a classic, like, it pops up on Twitter or, like, at college parties, someone will bring up, like, you know there's a baseball player named Bud Weiser?
I can see some redneck nowadays whose last name is Weiser naming their kid Bud, like as a
bit. It's
as
a funny bit.
Yeah, you know parents are doing bits.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 100% I could see if your last name is Weiser and you're from the South, I can 100% see you naming your kid Bud.
Well, what often goes well with a Bud Weiser, a Lil Stoner. Do you think Lil Stoner is a real baseball player?
Lil Stoner. Again, that seems like a Longwood or a long stroke or whatever. That seems a little it seems a little too convenient. I'm gonna go fake.
I'm with you.
Lil Stoner.
Lil Stoner's real?
A pitcher born in 1899 from Bowie, Texas. 50 and 57 career record.
Lil Stoner. I'm guessing that had a different like a different meaning back then.
How about Hooter Babbitt?
That sounds real. There's a Hooter Babbitt. I feel like I've heard for some. I feel that it sounds old Hooter Babbitt. That makes sense.
You're not confusing him with Luke Babbitt?
Hooter Babbitt, not a real baseball player.
Damn it.
I'm shocked no one's named Hooter.
Oh, who was that guy?
It was Cooter.
Jim Bob.
Yeah.
And then there was the guy who was the Masters chairman forever, Hootie Johnson.
Yeah,
was
Hootie
that his name?
Johnson. I don't know if anyone's named Hootie, but I guarantee that there are people that go by Hootie.
Well, no, I was
Or
thinking
Hooter.
Hooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Hootie
great-
is famous.
I'll tell you what, that's another one. There needs to be I need a buddy that I call Hooter. That's a great that's a great name.
How about Herschel Cervix?
Again, it doesn't sound ridiculous. Like that, I can see that being real. I'm going real for Herschel Cervix.
How is that not real?
It's not a real one. How about, let's see here, I got a few more. How about Hogan Tug Muscle?
That's real.
You going real on Hogan Tuck Muscle? Yeah. All right, I'll trust Will. I want all of these to be real, so I'm going with Will. Good old Hogan Tuck Muscle.
That's a negative on Hogan Tug Muscle.
Damn it.
How about Buttercup Dixon?
That's a sweet name.
Cousin to Reese's.
I got a good buddy of mine whose last name is Dixon. I'm going to start calling him Buttercup. Good old Buttercup Dixon. You can count on him. He's in Ireland right now. Old Buttercup Dixon, what's he up to? He's out hanging out in Ireland, having some beers with good old Buttercup. That's got to be real. I'm going real. That's like an oil can Boyd sort of thing.
Yeah, good little player, that Buttercup Dixon. 5'6", 140 pounds, born in the 1850s.
Hell yeah.
Career average of 284. He had 500 hits.
1850s.
Old Buttercup Dixon.
Okay, how about Boots Poffenberger?
Poffenberger?
Poffenberger.
Boots Poffenberger? Or
What are you doing?
Poffenberger.
Boots? I'm going to say real again. It sounds real to me.
Boots is a cool nickname.
Yeah, I'm going real.
That's correct. How about Beef Wellington?
Beef? So again, this goes back to someone's last name was Wellington.
It's along the Budweiser lines,
Yeah,
for sure.
did they have the balls to go by Beef? Which again, great nickname. More people need to go by Beef. I'm gonna say that's fake.
I'm with you.
Beef Wellington.
Of course, I got sidetracked by Sam Elliott. We'll
Well,
have
you
to wait. You're saying real
No,
or
I'm going fake. I don't think there's a Beef Wellington.
You're correct. That is not a real baseball player.
I had my first beef Wellington just a few months back when I was in Tahoe at the Hell's Kitchen place.
That is a dish that I think is exceptionally hard to make, and therefore, if you can find someone that does it well, worth ordering.
I guess that's Gordon Ramsay's like
signature
dish.
Yeah,
seems like a fancy corn dog.
Well, you mentioned real player Rusty Kuntz. How about real player Dusty Gunt?
Dusty Gunt.
I know what I'm calling Fan Man from now on. Good old Dusty Gunt. Right in the gunt. That's one of those great terms that should be bad. Like, I'll call someone a mook sometimes, and it makes Rob very uncomfortable. He's like, that just sounds racist. I'm like, it's not. Like, look it up. It just means a dumbass. Like, same thing with gunt. Well, I don't know. I got kicked in the gunt. Dusty Gunt. I'll go real. I'll go real for Dusty Gunt.
I'm with you there.
No, unfortunately, that one is fake. How about Peekaboo Veach?
That feels real.
That feels real.
That feels real.
There's Peekaboo Street. She was a great skier.
Peekaboo Veach, a first baseman, a left fielder, and a pitcher from Indianapolis.
Yeah, Will, you were too young, but like Peekaboo Street was a big deal. She was a U.S. Like downhill skier.
I think her parents were hippies, and they said I think they didn't give her a name for like 2 years, and then the first thing she said was Peekaboo. They're like, let's call her Peekaboo.
Yeah, she was like a full-on like Olympic gold medalist. She was a badass.
So just to let you guys know, with Beef Wellington, you guys have cleared the 11 name threshold. So regardless of what happens the rest of the way, you've gotten over 50%. Just 3 left for you.
Dusty Gunt.
I will say that there are real and fake still left in this list.
Right.
How about Tug Duck Butter?
There's no way. There's no way someone's name is Tug Duck Butter.
Tug Duck Butter.
Not buying it.
That's correct. That is not. You are correct. It is not a real name. How about Todd Donkey?
I've met lots of Todds who are donkeys.
I can see that. I'll go real. Todd Donkey.
No. That one is incorrect. And the final one, which I may have just given away. How about Tony Suck?
I've met a lot of Tonys that suck too.
Tonys. Yeah, it's got to be real.
That's real.
That's real.
That's true, and this account says, and he really did suck. He had 205 major league at bats, only hit 151. Tony Suck living up to his name.
When was he?
Let's see. 1858, Chicago, Illinois.
It probably meant something different. There's no way, dude. If your last name was Suck, you got to change that.
You pronounce it like Sook.
I don't. You change it. If it's S-U-C-K, you change the spelling.
And that is exactly how it's spelled.
Yeah, you do something else. You can't do that. You just can't. We had an associate principal who went by Mr. Cook. And let me tell you, that's not how it was spelled. And no one called him Mr. Cook.
Of course
you can't.
not.
You just can't. Go down to the courthouse. It's like $50. Change your name. You can't go around being Mr. Suck. Or in this case, think about what he was besides Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't do that.
A couple others that I was afraid to put on the list because I couldn't say them if they were fake. Real names that existed. Johnny Dickshot.
That's a real name.
That's a real baseball name. Jack Glasscock.
Oh, yeah. There's the Glasscock. I've actually met a Glasscock before.
And then a guy whose first name rhymes with Wussy.
Oh, yeah.
Wussy Tebow.
I still want to meet Johnny Dickshot.
We also had Chicken Hawks on the list.
How much cooler would you be if you were Will Dickshot?
Dick Cox, another one.
That'd be great. My all-time favorite will always be the great Dick Pound of the IOC.
Yeah, but no, I'm telling you,
Go by Richard.
If your name was Johnny Dickshot, I'm sorry. I would just make you CEO of something just for the fact. Who's that? Oh, that's the CEO. Old Johnny Dickshot.
Yeah, left fielder who hit 276 in his 990 at bats. He was born in 1910.
What team did he play for?
So the way they have these little bios here, they show it's a screenshot from Baseball Reference. I don't know which teams those are. It just says what number he wore with them. So blue and red teams, blue and white teams. I can't tell without actually looking up Mr. Dickshot.
Yeah, I see him right here. Boy, and he looks like a salty bastard too. Yeah,
with a name like that,
he played mainly for Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Played for Pittsburgh and the New York Giants, and then the White Sox.
Okay.
Good old Johnny Dickshot. Dude, I love that guy. That is such a Like I saw it was like on eBay or one of like what's the other one?
Like Etsy?
Craigslist?
No, like where you buy the used clothing. Oh, anyway.
Oh, Postmark?
Yeah, like Poshmark.
Poshmark, that's
one
it.
of those.
Yeah. Poshmark.
Yeah, I saw one. They had a Coors Light or a Coors Banquet baseball jersey. It was sleeveless.
Yeah.
And it had no name on the back. It was like number 9 and it was in like Pittsburgh colors. I want to buy that and then just put Dick Shot on the back of it. That's my Johnny Dick Shot jersey. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Well, that's foul. It's a real person. Who are you talking about?
He played for the Pittsburgh Banquets back in the 1910s. Don't worry about it. Good old number 9, Johnny Dick Shot. Phenomenal.
Well, you guys were 13 of 21 winners in the first ever Steed Cream Roper baseball real or fake name game. Thank you both for playing. And it's time that we turn the page. We can't do any more of Johnny Dickshot. We will move instead to Mike Gundy, who is a man who is a little bit older than 40, and his bizarre punishment or lack thereof for his star running back. That's coming up next, but first, Orton Rest Sports Center.
Now,
telling us about
the old 97s.
The old 97s. I should have it in here. It just says Primetime underneath it because I got it for the show. But yeah, the old 97s and that being one of their hits. And I wanted to know what it was. And so we played some and I was like, well, let's just keep it in.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Big fan. If you don't know about the old 97s, I highly recommend looking them up. Great little band out of Texas.
Great year.
What?
Great year, 1997.
Is that when you were born, Will?
Maybe.
Okay.
And they've been around for a long time. And that's unfortunately like a lot of the bands I like now. Like when I go see them, I'm like, oh god,
you guys have been doing it for a while.
Yeah, doing it for like 30 plus years, and like they're all old. But
that sounds kind of like a road tripping song. That Champaign, Illinois.
Champaign, Illinois. It's a good tune. They old 97s again. If you're looking for something that's been around for a long time that maybe you haven't heard of, Vince Vaughn is a big fan of them. Like he puts them in some of his movies. Just I don't know, it's kind of a weird, odd fact. Vince Vaughn's a big fan of him. So every now and then one of his movies, like they'll do like, oh, I'm going to a concert. Who are you going to see? The old 97s. And you're like, that's kind of a solid, like an Adam Sandler
I wonder if
sort
he
of
has
thing.
some connection to them from like back in the day, you know, like if he, that seems like the kind of thing you scratch your back for a friend that you grew up with or something like
Dude,
that.
if like I became famous, 100%, like in my movies, I'd have like the White Buffalo.
Sure.
I'd be like, what are you doing? I'm going to go see the White Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then like you show like a 10-second clip of him. Like, it's kind of cool to be able to do that for, I don't know, for bands or smaller bands that you like.
Well, let's move back to college football for now. I say back to it. We really haven't touched much college football today, but
Big 12 Media Day was the day.
That's right.
Which
and,
like totally snuck up on me. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I saw that we had some quotes about from the new hotshot commissioner, Brett Yormark, talking about being the best and the deepest conference in the land and blah, 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 stuff
Okay,
like that.
Brett.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe he could be creating a nice conference from a basketball standpoint, but
yeah,
and that's his bailiwick. That's his thing.
It is the best basketball conference in the country, and that's not even. Like,
yeah,
it's
the
a
school
hell of a
they've
conference.
brought in, and the competition they can offer. It's outstanding. But at Media Day was, of course, all the head coaches, including Oklahoma State's own Mike Gundy, who we know is a man and is 40. He's now much older than 40.
Mm-hmm.
But he brought with him Ollie Gordon, his running back, who had just gotten a DUI.
Whoops.
And for one, it's interesting that he essentially thinks that bringing him to Media Day is part of a punishment. But before we get any further into Gundy's decision, let's hear what Gundy had to say on Ollie Gordon at Media Day.
So I looked it up on my phone. What would be the legal limit? Like in Oklahoma is 0.08 and Ollie was 0.1. So I looked it up and it was based on body weight. Not to get into the legal side of it, but I thought really 2 or 3 beers or 4. I'm not justifying what Ollie did. I'm telling you what decision I made. Well, I thought I've probably done that 1,000 times in my life.
Of course you did.
And I, it's just fine. So I got lucky. People get lucky. Ollie made a decision that he wished he could have done better. But when I talked to Ollie, I told him, I said, you're lucky you got out light because you make a lot of money.
Yeah, you got off light because your coach isn't doing anything to you.
Yeah, dude, that's an awkward.
And the fact that he immediately is jumping to pulling out his phone and looking at what the punishment should be for the various like decimal. I mean, listen, I would concede that 0.1 against 0.08. Yeah, he missed it by 25%. That's not, he wasn't plaster, but it's not great either. And the bottom line is you can't do that. And he wasn't just having a couple beers and going home. There was half a bottle of vodka and half a bottle of tequila in the passenger seat, open
container.
So
like, this is really poor form. And by the way, Mike Gundy, if you listen to that clip, Mike Gundy's like, I've done that 1,000 times. First off, that sounds terrible. He tried to go back and change. Listen to that clip again, because Mike Gundy tried to go back and clarify. He goes,
yeah,
no,
I think what he's saying is I've had 3 or 4 beers hundreds of times and felt okay.
He's saying that like, I was talking. Mike Gundy tried to clarify, saying that he's talking about I've made hundreds of poor decisions. No, Mike Gundy is literally saying I've done this 1,000 times.
I think he has. Yeah.
And look, as a head coach, this is incredibly poor form.
Well, Will had
it really is kind of shocking.
Will had more to this quote as well, and I know there were other elements more than just the audio that we played that he basically was saying, well, I'm not going to hurt the rest of the team by suspending Ollie, because it would hurt the team to lose their star running back. I mean, it's not fair to those guys who didn't get a DUI. That's not how accountability works, though. Like, I'm sorry if your best salesperson who rakes in all the revenue for your company, gets popped for a DUI. You don't say, well, that'll hurt the company too much, so we can't. I don't know. It's just, obviously, it's a different world. That analogy may not hold the most water, but I feel like deflecting it into, well, we're not going to hurt the rest of the program on just on Ollie's account. I'm like, what? How is that your defense?
Look, it's just, and then you go into I'm not defending what Ollie did. Yeah, you are. And then you're saying you've done it 1,000 times. And despite you trying to go back and clarify, you're literally saying you've done it 1,000 times. And whether you have or haven't, which, by the way, I'm sure you have, lots of people have, the idea of someone getting a DUI and then your response is, well, I should have gotten a DUI 1,000 times too. Boy, as a head coach, I just don't think he can do it. Like, it's incredibly poor form. But Mike Gundy kind of,
he does whatever he wants.
He does whatever he wants down there. And, the fact that, like, your first game of the year for Oklahoma State, by the way, is South Dakota State. Like,
you don't need him.
No.
Just have some, even if you're like, hey, not a big deal. You play Arkansas the second week. I get it. Like, suspend him for South Dakota State.
Suspend him for a half against South Dakota State.
But
He's learned his lesson.
You make a lot of money and it's not a big deal. I mean,
that's textbook enabling.
And you're trying to justify his blood alcohol content. It's
the fact that he immediately went to the technicalities of the BAC. I was like, really? That's the first thing?
You had 2 open bottles of liquor, man.
He's also wrong on the technicalities. Ollie Gordon is 20. And he's nowhere near 21. So the actual legal limit is 0.02. So if you get pulled over and you're under 21 and you blow like a 0.01, you might be okay. Depends on the situation. Because remember, 0.08, that's when everyone is legally drunk. Like the officer, if you blow a 0.05 and the officer thinks that you're dangerous behind the wheel, you can still get a DUI. Like that can still go down.
You can get a DUI under anything. Like it,
right?
You can fail sobriety tests and all that. It just I'm not in here to try to legislate what should or shouldn't be a DUI. You just, as a head coach, there's a responsibility, and you got to have some balls. And every now and then, it takes suspending your best player, especially when week 1 is South Dakota State.
It could, and that's the thing. It'd be a Mickey Mouse suspension. It wouldn't be anything. It's not like your rival game coming up.
It's a pretty slimy.
It's
a pretty slimy thing to do.
Do you want the quote?
Yeah, let's hear it, Ortner.
He's going to play, Gundy said. I might make him carry the ball 50 times in the first game, but he's going to play. We have 68 employees in our building and 139 other players. My job now in the business world that we're in is to make decisions for everybody. He's going to go through enough that's really going to be some sort of punishment, right or wrong. Either way, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a slimy thing to do.
And he also thought bringing him to media day and forcing him to face the music was punishment as well.
Yeah, I just, it's a bad beat. And yes, someone said on here that this happens all the time when people leave golf courses and bars. Absolutely it does. And there's repercussions when you get caught doing it. I mean, honestly, it's the truth. Most of the time people get a DUI. That's not the first time that they've ever done it, but there are repercussions to that. And so to have someone get caught and then your response is, I don't know, he's a really good player, so I really don't care because I've done this too. Like I said, I just think there's leadership, and then there's whatever Mike Gundy's doing, and I think it's a really, really poor look because what happens when the next guy? What
I had that same question. What about when your third string outside linebacker does it and you want to set him?
So he was a 1.1 and a 1 point or a 0.11 and a 0.10. So if it's 0.13, is that better? Like where's my line here of demarcation? Like wherein lies what's suspendable and what's not? So what if I'm 0.11, but I'm swerving over the road? What if I crash my car? So we're now just kind of legislating the result of it. I don't know. It just seems it seems a pretty crappy way to go about leading a team if you're Mike Gundy. When, like I said, you're staring at a really easy thing to do, and that's just a cheesy 1-game suspension against a team that you don't need him for. Set a precedent. And not have this be a thing for your program. But again, Mike does his own thing and always has, and I guarantee he's not apologetic about it. Mike Gundy takes that approach of I don't give a rip.
Yep.
So,
Well, we will move on, and I have one question for you before we get to the club. In a race between athletes of the highest caliber, a soccer player, a tennis player, a boxer, and a hockey player, who wins? That's next.
It's time for a Ducks Report.
Sup, bros? Just doing some back lat work today, you know?
I did get mean mugged by Blue Tank. I think he listens.
Yeah, Will's got a feud going on with Stinky Blue Tank guy.
He was very upset.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about this guy.
Yeah, he was very upset on Monday. He mean mugged me, and then he got madder when I laughed.
Dude, listen, Blue Tank Guy, if you know that you're the one he's talking about being the stinky tank top guy, wash that tank top and have less of a problem.
You're a stinky bastard. You know you're a stinky bastard.
Well, stop.
When you have that kind of odor, we know damn well what you got going on, man. Just, like, if you're the smelly guy, like, you have to know you're the smelly guy. You can't be at this point, like, you know what's up. It's just, and so don't be surprised when people look at you and like, what in the hell? We were drinking at Kells after the Timbers game the other night, and there was someone that was blowing crop dusting like you wouldn't believe. Like 4 times, and we were sitting there for like maybe 2 hours, and there's a group of people right and kind of like standing like around us, and it was like one of those 5 dudes. Oh my God. Dude was dropping serious heat. You know what you're doing? It's like if that guy sees us and by the way, I wasn't being subtle. Like that guy hears us talking about it. You can't be offended. You know what you're doing, you stinky ass.
So I found a clip that I want to discuss right before we get to the club. It'll be short, and the race was short as well. But back in 1982, a hockey player, a boxer, a soccer player, and a tennis player, all at the top of their games, ran a sprint against each other. First of all, before I tell you who these individuals were, which sports top athlete do you think has the best shot of winning that sprint? We'll call it a 100-yard dash.
All right, run that by me one more time.
Soccer, tennis, boxing, hockey.
So it's a sprint. It's
a sprint on a track with the lanes and everything. Everybody lines up in the blocks and go.
If it's any sort of distance,
it's not.
It would be the soccer player,
right,
or the tennis player. Their cardio, I'm sure, has to be insane. In a sprint, I know I'm going to take the hockey guy. Those hockey dudes, people have no idea, like the shape that hockey guys are in because they're in pads. Hockey bro is some of the most ridiculously ripped, in shape athlete that you'll ever see.
Okay, now with that guess under your belt, I will tell you who the 4 individuals are that raced each other in 1982. Pele, Bjorn Borg, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Wayne Gretzky. Who wins a race between those 4?
First off, let me just state for the record.
We have video of it.
I love that they used to do this.
The whole like Wild World of Sports
the
type
Wild World
stuff.
Of Sports. Yeah. I love that. It was great. Like Joe Frazier almost died once, and he was swimming against like Johnny Bench. He sunk like a stone, and like Lou Ferrigno would be in there. Look at those. All right, so we got Bjorn Borg,
Pele, Gretzky, and who else did I say?
Who's Sugar Ray Leonard?
Oh, Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, that's correct.
Boy, Gretzky. Again, I went hockey, but Wayne can't run. look at him. Pele's got those short little stubby legs. Ray's a boxer. Bjorn Borg? God, I don't know. Like my instinct wants to go with the hockey player. I just don't think Wayne is fast.
Wayne's not fast.
I just got done being like, yeah, my hockey bros are going to do it. But
now I would have to reference how old Wayne was in comparison to the people he was running against. But your gut is correct. It is Wayne Gretzky, and
wins?
It's not even close.
Wow.
He absolutely dusts them. I've got the video up right now, as you can see right here, and he smokes them.
Look at the Wayner.
It's like, probably, a 60-yard dash or something like that?
Dude,
and he just absolutely dusted him.
While wearing a polo shirt and a mullet. You know Sugar Ray Leonard's embarrassed, too, that he got dusted by a white Canadian. That can't feel good.
I didn't think that he was known for his speed. He was known for like his smarts.
Dude, Wayne Gretzky is not a physically imposing dude. Dude, Wayne dusts them all. By the way, what's up with Pele changing lanes in a 60-yard sprint? Pele's the worst of all of them. Oh my God.
And I might have thought that Pele was the greatest athlete just because he's maybe the biggest legend of his sport. Obviously Wayne. Those are the top 2 guys in each of their sports, but man, I was not expecting that outcome.
Dude, I'm telling you. You sleep on hockey players at your own risk. Like every year this happens in the Stanley Cup, right? Like they celebrate and one of the hockey dudes will take their shirts off and people will be like, what the hell? Yeah. Skating is like the most, it just, those dudes have to be in such ridiculous shape. So like, do you know who Nick Lidstrom is?
Yeah.
So he's one of the best defensemen of all time, played for the Detroit Red Wings, and was not known as a big, imposing guy. He's a Swede guy, and he just looks very, very unassuming, right? Like that Nick Lidstrom.
Yep. Pretty pedestrian, average-looking dude.
That is Nick Lidstrom without his shirt on.
He looks like Ivan Drago.
Yes. I'm telling you, hockey players wear all that padding and big baggy clothing.
Some of those guys are sneaky
They
ripped.
look like NFL players.
Yeah.
They all look like NFL linebackers and free safeties. I just don't know about Wayne.
I know.
If that would have been any hockey player, I would have been like hockey guy for sure. But the Wayner?
Yeah.
That throws me for a loop because something tells me Wayne without his shirt off was not impressive. Now I want to see if I can find a photo of Gretzky without his shirt on.
Gretzky shirtless. Well,
Who,
you can
by the way, Wayne Gretzky is pulling a classic, turning into a middle-aged lesbian, and it's phenomenal. Like he is falling down. He looks like John Bon Jovi and Katie Lang had a love child. It's fantastic.
Well, you can look for shirtless Wayne Gretzky during the break, but we got the club coming up. One man's trash is another man's.
I found shirtless Wayne Gretzky.
It didn't take long, huh?
No, it's
not impressive.
It's not good.
Now do Paulina.
Maybe we'll do that.
Boy, there is
during the break. The club is coming up next on the Fan.
Hey.
My eyes are very important to me.
They all suck balls. Welcome into the club. An SOB edition, Suk, Ordner, and Buck. No Rop, it is his birthday, but he is still recovering from the COVID-19, or as we will be calling it moving forward, the Isachi-19.
By the way,
resourceful little bitch.
You're welcome for everyone out there that Googled a shirtless Wayne Gretzky. Huh? That bubble ad.
That is
bubble shot that he did, right?
Isachi.
I think Isachi might have a little more something going on than Gretzky in those days. My goodness.
I'm going to show you my boobs.
That right there is the greatest team sport athlete of all time. Just goes to show you, sometimes it's just God-given. It's just God-given. You don't have to be the biggest and the strongest. Sometimes you're just Wayne freaking Gretzky.
Well, a couple things that I would like to get to in the club tonight. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Another man's trash is now going in bins. But first, I want an update, Suk. I want an update on the haunted doll shopping, because yesterday you sent me two photos, one of Mika and one of, I think, Annabeth, two potential haunted dolls around the price range of $35 that you wanted to purchase and put right here in the studio to haunt all of us. What do we learn over dinner at the Sakanic household?
Well, I'm pretty excited, and just know that it's going well. If you don't know, yesterday during the club, we discussed the growing industry of haunted dolls. You can go on eBay and Etsy and just Google haunted dolls, and people are selling all kinds, thousands of them. And they go by you can have a positive, a neutral, or a negative spirit.
What is a neutral haunting like, by the way?
Well, a neutral haunting is like where it's not good or bad. It's
just like something happens without consequence, kind of, maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then there's other ones like where they'll break down what the physical and what like the mental things. Like for the negative ones, it'll be like physical. Some will make you like give you chills.
Yeah.
Others will take your breath away.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And so like there's like detailed breakdowns of like what each one of these dolls do. We also found out that there's a whole separate category of succubus shape-shifting sex dolls as well, which I'm not certain that is going to be appropriate.
When you say shape-shifting, you mean you can put the dolls, in different positions, or the dolls like change other dolls?
I think it changes forms.
What?
Like this one here.
If that were real.
This one here is for $43.99. It's a haunted doll, active spirit, demon succubus shapeshifter threesome unicorn Jordan.
Whoa.
And the breakdown of this is her name is Jordan. The safe word is Skittles.
Hi, Lynn. I'm from Belfast, Tennessee.
Oh, whoops.
And it's an authentic haunted cursed doll, but it says beware of Jordan the unicorn. I can't talk about everything that Jordan likes to do, but she's one of the most unique shapeshifters that this medium has ever seen. She likes to do it in the park. Reflections behind rainbows or even some dark corners of your home. She wants to be dominated by you and possibly another if you want to add more.
Okay.
Yep.
She
craves sex all day and all night.
I'm still hung up on the safe word. So if you just drop a Skittles on her, all this stops?
I'm not super familiar with how, again, I'm just now figuring out the world of haunted dolls, and I just learned that there are indeed succubus sex dolls out there. There's also full-on demons as well. There is, so you can get the negative, positive, or neutral. You can also get demons. Like the one that I'm leaning towards right now is Mika.
Okay. She's the kind of Nordic-looking one. She's got like the hood.
One, and she is negative. Her phenomenon is physical. She gives you shivers and startles you. Emotional, she gives you anxiety, dread, psychological nightmares, and negative thoughts. And I think she would make a great addition to the fan lineup. Although there is there's an evil boy doll that is also really, really, really creepy. And he, I gotta find him. Sorry, full-on cowboy boy. Well, I thought maybe the girl would be the best way to go, because they seem to be a little creepier, kind of the old Victorian dolls.
Yeah.
But boy, I was stumbling across some of these weird little boy dolls, and some of them are pretty damn creepy too. So what we're doing now at the house is I've got everyone in the family, including BTJ. We're all kind of going through for the next day or two, and we're all selecting 3 or 4 of our favorite haunted dolls.
Okay.
And then we're going to compile like a top 5, and then we're going to bring them to the show on the club, and we're going to let the people vote.
I like
this
it.
isn't just going to be me picking a haunted doll.
Well, that's what it started as.
It was, but I really feel like this needs to be a group. I feel like this needs to be a group effort. That I want us all to enjoy the haunted doll experience.
So you've gone on record as saying that you want like an evil haunting, like a.
I have been actively trying to be haunted for quite some time, and so far nothing is working. And so now I figured out that I can just buy a haunted doll, and yes, why would I want a positive haunting?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you: is what is a positive haunting like? Because maybe we could all benefit from that.
Well, a positive, I'll find one here.
I would like a positive haunting more than I would like a negative evil haunting.
Okay, so this is a positive one. We'll get the breakdown here. This dude's name is Waves. He's a sea creature with a passionate soul.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, so he brings a strong emotions of compassion. He brings you good luck. He brings you abundance and prosperity and emotional healing.
I love Waves. What's wrong with Waves?
Well, one, it's a dolphin. All right?
I thought it was like a...
No, I'm not buying a haunted dolphin. That seems stupid.
A positive haunted dolphin.
Yeah, why would I want that? That's ridiculous. No. Like we want. Here's another one. I'll see this.
Yeah, you don't want a Mickey Mouse doll. You want or Mickey Mouse haunting. You want a real mess with your life haunting.
Yeah, like this one here is a positive one, and the only like you'll hear footsteps, you'll see some apparitions, sudden temperature changes, which whatever. And then you can communicate through mediums with it. But again, this one is bringing a lot of the same very positive vibes.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of lame. If we want
you think it's like a haunting cop-out.
Yeah, like if we want to be haunted, and I think we all do want to be haunted.
See, that's where I might have to stop you. I think you really want to be haunted. I think everyone else is either indifferent or very much anti-haunting.
The best part about this is I was debating on who was going to have the biggest problem with me bringing a haunted doll in. And quite frankly, Buckley, I think it's you. I think you're going to have the biggest issue with this haunted doll that I'm going to buy. And by the way, it is happening. Get ready.
So I don't think I have the biggest issue. I just have the most known issues because we've been able to discuss it together. I just know that I need a specific evil haunting presence in our work lives. If there's a positive option, I might opt for that, even if it does seem kind of candy ass.
Yeah, like I'm looking here at Lucy. Lucy's pretty freaky. The problem with Lucy is like some of the really bad ones, people want a lot of money for. And look, I'm not willing until I find out exactly what these hauntings are all about, that I'm not popping. Like Mika is $39.99 or best offer. I'm thinking about coming in at $19.99. But this is Lucy. She's a restless, angry spirit.
Okay.
She has shown myself and previous owners through dreams that she had been taken and unfortunately murdered when she was a young child.
Okay.
So,
we think all of these stories are basically made up.
Oh, that's 100%. Yeah, she's no good. But apparently she's terrifying, and she has a lot of paranormal activity, including you're going to have terrible thoughts. You're going to have nightmares. You're going to have feelings of dread, and you're going to be very, very cold in her presence.
And you think everyone else wants this?
I don't really care. I just
See?
think it's going to be awesome.
There it is. It's not that I'm anti.
Look at Lucy. Yeah, let's go.
No.
Let's go.
No.
I'm excited about Lucy. I'm going to put her right there in that corner over there so she can look at everybody. We're thinking about maybe getting a YouTube camera just for the doll.
Yeah, special
So
one.
like when you're on YouTube, you can just stare at her and have her haunt you through the camera.
Want to get haunted? Check out Lucy Cam.
Yeah, I think
sounds like an OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Definitely is an OnlyFans.
I'm pretty excited about what this has to offer because there are a lot of options.
And you know what someone told us yesterday is that we should, once we get this doll, create some sort of sexual OnlyFans and try to profit off of their haunting.
You know what?
Because there's going to be people who are into that.
Look, I don't appreciate you taking my wholesome haunting here and trying to turn it into something sexual. All right?
You
this
brought
isn't
in
about
the
sex. This is about good old-fashioned
You
hauntings.
brought in the sexy shapeshifters,
Well, that
okay?
is true. Look, I'm telling you right now, the shape-shifting succubus is not on the table. That's right out. Can't
for only at home.
Can't be doing that. Yeah, that may be a home purchase. And believe me, you know who's most pissed about this? BTJ is terrified. Because she is a believer in all this, and she absolutely thinks that I'm going to bring a haunted doll home, and she is totally not
She's going to
okay
make you
with
leave it in
this.
the car or outside and only bring it to work?
Yeah. But then I got Doll Year, who has been locked away for 100 years. 100 years in a basement
So says the Etsy ad.
of an abandoned home in upstate New York. Because of her troublemaking, her owners locked her away, and now that she's out, apparently she will sing along to your nightmares, which I think is real fun. Like you're having nightmares, but she's singing along, which is pretty good.
There aren't songs in my nightmares.
Well, they will be now.
Yeah, now you're going to have a soundtrack, Will.
Yeah.
Does
She
she
is
rap?
known for her disembodied footsteps and voice, which is kind of fun. She will creep up on you and giggle, which I think is fantastic. You may hear her whisper creepy things to you and then turn around and run away. She may run around in the middle of the night. So, like, Will, when you're sleeping here at night, she can keep you company and cruise around the studio. And you might start sweating, and you're going to get real tense when you realize that she's awake and her eyes are moving to watch you. So, I think this is pretty good. And it's rumored that she may have stabbed someone, or her roommate, to death when she was alive.
When the doll was alive, or the person
No.
that inhabits the doll?
Remember,
right?
all these dolls are former spirits of people that have committed bad things or had bad things committed to them, and now their spirits are trapped in the doll.
I'm reading the Vancouver Ford text line saying, here's your haunted doll story. A Jordan Schultz doll where his head exploded in studio railing against Bronny James, and all his faux hawk anger and rage was transferred to the doll. That's kind of how these things work. Is like one of those situations happen, and somehow all those feelings and energy get put into the doll, right?
Look, if I could have a Schultzy haunted doll, I would 100% do that.
I think that'd be positive.
Yeah. It'd be,
I don't think he would scare you. He would be positive.
Well, again, none of this stuff is going to scare me. I think it's great. I want to be haunted. Look, and if other people have a problem with the haunting, that's on them. I've stated for the record, people bring stuff into the studio all the time and leave it laying around. Am I wrong?
See Kim Jong-un pillow in the corner.
Kim Jong-un pillow over there. People leave water bottles. People leave, sunglasses and keys and different things. Why can't I leave a haunted doll?
You can. You certainly, and you will.
Yeah. So,
I'm excited for the top 5. I really am, because I feel like there are a lot of interesting options here, and once we get a full profile and breakdown, that'll be great content too.
Yeah, but the one thing I can assure you, two things. One, no sexual succubuses. Nope, that's out. It's too uncomfortable. I can't trust Solcy or Ortner alone with it. Can't do that.
Yeah, Vancouver
You really seem to be putting this out on others. I don't think you can be trusted with it. You're the one who searched it out and found it.
I just stumbled upon that. I was like, ooh, what's happening here? Succubus.
Accidentally stumbled into succubus doll.
And
Also,
then,
whoa, careful, Ortner.
And I'm only looking at negative spirit. I'm only looking at negative spirit.
They all suck balls.
There will be no positive and there will be no neutral. If we're doing this, we're going all the way with a negative spirit. And I'm putting my cap here at about $50.
Oh, certainly. I thought that you were going to do the. A lot of these were or best offer. I thought you were just start throwing $20 at people and see what happens.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna come up with our top 5, and then when people pick their top 2, look, I'm offering $20 plus shipping, and we'll see whoever bites. They're sitting up there at like $36.99. They're gonna take $19.99. I'm gonna lowball someone and give myself a nice deal on a haunting.
Vancouver Ford text line. You guys know that Sook just wants to get haunted so he can bully that evil spirit. That thing will pretty much disappear back into hell once he gets 5 minutes of Sook's badgering.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand in all these movies, why is everyone so afraid of the haunted spirit?
Because bad things happen.
What? What can it do?
Scary movies?
It's a dumb spirit. Talk to it. Befriend it. Has anyone ever asked what the spirit wants?
How often are they just looking for a friend?
That's my whole thing.
They're not. They just want to mess with your world.
Why? You don't know. No one has ever taken the time to sat down and be like, all right, spirit, I get it. You're here. I'm here. You're haunting. I'm being haunted. Let's come up with a cool haunting agreement here. What do you need? Oh, what do you want to mess with a cat? I'll get you a cat. What sort of spirit things do you need?
Dragon.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll come up with some stuff. We'll get like a haunted safe word. It'll be kind of cool.
I did like the
I'll
one
high five him in the hallway.
I did like the sexy doll that had the Skittles safe word for all her sexual dalliances or whatnot.
Yeah,
well, that's solid. Was that Lucy? I think might have been Lucy.
Jordan.
Oh, Jordan.
Jordan
Sorry.
Schultz, by the way. Yeah,
You're
her
a fan
safe
of
word.
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, it's
that doll.
a Skittles thing. You know, hey, something's getting weird in here. Like, whoa,
I'm just about
Skittles.
that action, boss.
You know, I just think a lot of times when I watch these movies, the evil spirit is misunderstood, and you know, I'd like to talk with them.
So you're saying you relate when you watch scary movies to the evil nun?
It happens from time to time.
I wonder why.
I watched that one with like the evil goat. I think that goat seemed pretty cool. And the best one was I watched
evil goat. What are we talking about?
That's the devil. The devil is the goat.
It was like Black Adam or whatever. It seemed kind of cool.
Oh, that came out kind of recently,
Kind
right?
of kick-ass goat. I'd hang out with that thing. Let's go.
Well, yeah, you're a friend of the animals.
Yeah, but like I watched the big one. Was like we all watched
haunted raccoon.
Oh, 100%. Dude, let's go. But we watched that one. It was really good. It was like the Haunting of Hill House or whatever, and it was a big deal on Netflix. We all watched it together, and like again, I thought the house made a lot of good points. Yes, the house brought you into the house, and ended up murdering you. Well, you ended up murdering yourself, but you got to live forever with your family in the house. The house just wanted you to be together as a family forever. I thought that was a pretty good deal. Yes, you're not living anymore. Yes, you had to hang yourself from the 3rd floor balcony, but once you were dead, you got to hang out with all the other cool dead family members.
What a consolation.
And the house just wanted to be safe. I thought the house made a lot of good points, and quite frankly, I was rooting for the house.
Sounds a lot like there are a lot of good people on both sides.
The house gaslit the people into killing themselves?
Yeah.
Is that the Dave Bautista movie?
I understand. Not the coolest way to go about doing it, but sometimes the end justifies the means. And that stupid family was trying to burn down the house, and the house was just protecting itself.
House wasn't having it.
I related. I thought the house was pretty cool.
You related to the gaslighting?
Like what we had going on. No, like they always see like those like haunted shows. It's like, could you spend a night in the most haunted asylum? Yes, sign me up. Let's go. It's just some dude like sleeping in a basement, and then like something rattles and he gets scared and run away. No, run to the rattle. Let's find out who's rattling the chains. Talk to me, brother. Let's sit down and have a summit. We can't bridge this gap unless we're willing to have conversations. Let's go.
There are so few people with this mindset of yours, but
exactly, which is why ghosts and the demons and the evil spirits have a bad reputation.
All right, we're going to get a haunted doll of some sort in this studio, and Sook will be bringing nominees very soon. But coming up next, a debate from one of our listeners that almost brought friends to fisticuffs. I'll tell you what that was coming up next on The Fan.
The
us. Rock sliding eagle.
On 1080, The Fan.
Double sun power!
Now I'm hearing that Sook's current and former pets have also seen ghosts, at
Well,
least something like it.
Again, the only two things, like, I don't believe in any of this crap, first and foremost, although it's going to be awesome when I get a haunted doll. Because everyone that I've been with totally does. And they get so pissed at me because they think I'm inviting, like, ooh, the spirits. But, the power lesbians who bought my parents' house, they famously came over to my house because they said that my dad was haunting them. They came over and they were like, hey, this is kind of weird, but did your dad die in the house? I was like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, he's haunting us. And I was like, kick ass, all right? He was like watching him shower and like go to the bathroom. I'm like, way to go, Bob. Let's go. My dad's over there watching the power lesbian shower. I thought it was fantastic. I was like, oh my God.
We don't like the way he looks at us. Get him out of here.
So I didn't know what to do. I was like, what do you like? Do you want me to go tell him to like leave? And they were like, well, we think he's just confused and like he's looking for like your mom. And because this is that obviously after my mom left.
So detailed.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know. I'm like,
but it also sounds possible.
Well, I didn't know. So I was like, well, like, do you want me to like come over and talk to him? They're like, well, he only shows up like at night. I'm like, well, you can call me. I'm like, I walk next door. And so like I saw him like a week later and they're like, hey, don't worry about it. They pushed him, they like smudged him or saged him out to the yard. And I was like, well, what does that do? And they're like, oh, he's out of the house. So now I don't know anything about ghosts other than like apparently my dad's just wandering the backyard. Like, I don't he's just cruising around. And so I share a fence line, right, with the where I grew up.
So you can say hi to him.
So sometimes sometimes a lot of times, Ka, my Akita, he just goes and sits in that corner and stares at the fence. And he doesn't growl or anything, he just stares at the fence. So we like to say that's Bobby.
There you go.
So that's Bob's corner. So I thought about putting up a sign that was like, Bob, this way, because he didn't know that I lived there. Like, he died before I moved there, so I want to be like, hey. So I'll be out like smoking a cigar or like drinking in the backyard, and the dog goes over there, and I'll talk. I'm like, what's up, Bobby? What's up, Dad? He's like hanging out over there. And then when my kids were little, this pissed my wife off so much. But when Eiserman was little, we would put him in one of those like little Johnny jump up things, right? They sit in there and they play with stuff.
Yeah, little kid jumper thing.
Yeah, and my Rottweiler, that was our dog at the time, he would sit on the other side of Eiserman and he would stare into because it was like near a corner. He would get between my boy and the corner and he would sit in that corner and growl. And it was just a corner of the house. And it used to weird my wife so much because sometimes at night you'd wake up to go get a bottle and Eiserman obviously wasn't in the jump up. And where would the dog be? In that corner. And it was all dark and you could just like see his eyes and then you'd hear and he'd be growling at the corner. So I would make up whatever ghost I think was in the corner.
Stories from behind what was going on there.
Well, and I would talk to him. Like I'd be making a bottle and I would I would make up whatever. I'm like, what's up, Gertie? She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's old Gertrude. She's just, so I'd make up stories about who was there in the corner and she would get just livid. And I couldn't help myself. I just kept leaning into it until like one day, dude, I thought she was going to leave. She was like, I swear to God, if you say one more thing about that corner. So those are my only two, it's like my two made up like ghost things. I may or may not be haunted by my dead father. And at my old house, I may have had an old Victorian woman named Gertrude that I made up that was haunting my son.
It doesn't feel like you even need a doll. You have plenty of hauntings in your life, but alas, we must continue on this path.
A dog stares at something and therefore you're being haunted?
Yeah.
Come on.
Duh.
Well, wait till the doll comes.
We'll get to one man's trash is another man's treasure, plus a question from the text line yesterday I wanted to get to. Taco meat, bringing friends to fisticuffs? We'll explain.
Yeah,
but first,
don't mess
Ortner
around with taco meat.
at Sports Center.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a
We? What? Did you just say we just stepped out of the shower? I said he. Right, okay.
On 1080, The Fan.
Double sun power!
Sook is now mad about ghost inaccuracies and haunting inaccuracies that's going on.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, I've seen a ghost cat. I'm sure you have. Yeah, the stories of children remembering past lives is really creepy. There are many documented stories. Yeah, documented. One kid remembered working on the Titanic. Here's the other one. Why is every ghost from like 1,000 years ago or something famous that worked on the Titanic? Where's the ghost that just died of a heroin overdose on the Sunset Boulevard in like 1986? Where's the person that OD'd at a Motley Crue concert?
It's always someone famous, too.
Where's that ghost? Give me that ghost. Give me the ghost from 89. I want that one. Oh, it's some old Victorian. As if only ghosts happened like from the 1850s. Or again, you worked on the Titanic and in a past life, you were some Egyptian queen. Okay.
Well, let's pivot to another topic that I know you're also very passionate about, maybe just as passionate about, street tacos.
I do love street tacos. If I had to pick one food to eat for the rest of my life, it may be street tacos.
Is that what you would also go with if you did one of those competitive eating things? They're like, how many could you put down? Could you just keep going on those?
I can eat a lot of street tacos.
Yeah.
Like when we go down to Mexico, I'm not proud, but dude, there's days I'm sure where over the course of a day, I'm eating 30 street tacos.
Sure.
Like they're so good. You can order like 7 at a time. And then the only thing that stops you is you just are like, I can't be this much of a fat ass. But you could keep going. They're so good.
In college, you used to be able to get 8 for $16.
They're so good.
They are
so easy.
No matter where I go, whatever restaurant, I'm like, I look at anything else, I'm like, oh, street tacos. That works. Late night street taco. Why there isn't late night like food cart street taco somewhere is beyond me. Like you go to Mexico, like no matter where you go, there's 9 different people serving street tacos on the corner. Like, where in Portland am I getting late night street? There should be that spiral whirl of meat going on at like 1 a.m. when I leave a bar.
They don't have those by the food carts?
No, I don't see street tacos
Yeah,
anywhere.
you've said it's pretty much just the Euro guy, right?
Yeah, if you want late night, the Euro guy over off Burnside, like across the street from Voodoo, that's like the late night. That's the late night option. You get Euros.
Well, we got a text from one of our listeners, and occasionally we get suggestions for conversation fodder in the club. And I thought this one was pretty straightforward and that you would definitely have an answer for it. Will probably will as well. But he said he was having a discussion with a buddy the other day about what the best single meat selection is to put in a street taco. He said they almost came to blows over the answer. And
really?
If you're listening, I tried to find your text again from yesterday, and I cannot find it. So text us back and let us know what the sides were in this argument. But I would like to know, what is the go-to meat filling for a street taco for you?
See, to me, I'm not willing to fight over this because I think they're all right answers.
I am with you. I think that there are 4 or 5 really good answers.
The only wrong answer is chicken. Chicken, get out of here.
Tend to agree.
Chicken. I'll tell you right now, that's bush.
If you have one of those pulled chickens that's been braised, I'm even okay with that. But like if you get like a grilled chicken, nah.
It's just in general. Street taco. You don't get chicken. That's the lamest thing in the
Pollo
world.
asado?
Yeah, lame. If you get chicken in general, like at a Mexican restaurant, what do you do? The answer is beef or pork. It's just like, where do you want to go with that?
Right.
You go with the chorizo. Like if you answered carnitas, if you answered barbacoa, if you answered carne asada, if you answered chorizo, like you answered shrimp, you find a nice shrimp.
A good shrimp street taco, yeah.
I didn't say anything. Fish taco, delightful. And again, lots of different kinds of fish. I think the only incorrect answer is chicken. I will not, like if you say, hey, we're going out for street tacos, and then we get there and they're like, you have to have the chicken, I immediately dismiss every opinion you have on street tacos. It's unacceptable.
See, now we might come to blows because I think you can even throw in the chicken.
I think you can. I just don't think it's one of the best.
It's not my
basic
go-to.
option.
I'm with you there, Buck. It's not my
point.
go-to. It's carne
bush.
asada.
Like
but
it's a bush league. It's a bush league taco. Now, if you're getting like a sampler, like you're like, hey, you get to pick like 5 of these. Sure.
And you want to mix in a chicken?
You want to throw away a chicken. Like you want to change up in there like as a palate cleanser just to see what they're doing.
And protein.
But yeah, if you're trying to be like, oh, I'm going to be healthy. But if you have one taco choice and you pick chicken, come on.
Yeah, I'm wrestling
ridiculous.
between either carne asada, the old standard. I think that's probably the staple one. That's like as safe as it gets as far as getting the best, most reliable bang for your buck. But I'm an al pastor man. I really like al pastor. I like that little bit of pineapple that gives it citrus. Now, an al pastor that's too sweet or like too wet, like they don't drain it before they put it in, that can ruin your taco. But good al pastor that's a little bit crispy with a little bit of that pineapple.
Yeah, and
That's
by
my
the
jam.
way, the shadier the place,
The better.
the better the street taco is. Like if I walk into a place and I'm getting street tacos, first off, I need like one of three things happening. I would prefer if there's bars on the window. I would prefer if there is some sort of Hispanic music playing at very, very loud volumes.
Sure.
I would also prefer if I have a hard time communicating, therefore I just have to point at a menu.
Yep.
And that menu really should be sticky. It should make me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
when
I would say the
handling.
ceiling's also probably sticky if it's an indoor place and not a taco truck, like the grease stains that are up there.
Yeah, that when those things are met, you know that good street tacos. Not that you need those things to have good street tacos, but if you walk in and you get that criteria that is met. And by the way, I would prefer also if there is a hot churros sitting right there ready to go. That's another one. Now we're talking. Possibly a hairnet in the back with a big Jesus cross. Those components, you walk in and see any array of those things, get ready, for you are in for
maybe one of those little Virgin Mary shrines over on the side.
A dining delight. Phenomenal.
Yeah, the prices will be good, the food will be quality, it'll be reliable, and you know exactly what you're bargaining for.
Yeah, and like I said, for me, if I had to pick one, it would be carnitas. If I got to get one, I'm going carnitas. Although I stand by this statement, the best street taco that I've ever had in my entire life, Todos Santos, Mexico, like 2 hours outside of Cabo.
Went there with my wife 2 years ago.
Phenomenal little place, great little surfing village, and it's like outside of this Marlin bar. Like they have this big, like it's like the.
I think I've been to this place.
Bob Marlin was the actual
Marlin?
restaurant, and yeah, it was
That's fantastic.
Yeah, they get what they did there. And outside of it, there was just this lady, and she's got like a ramshackled cart, and I don't think there's I don't think there's no refrigeration system there. There's no hand washing going on, but that lady made carne asada street tacos, cut right in front of you. And to this day, that is one of the 3 best meals I've ever had. And I think they were 2 for $1, 2 for an American dollar.
Wow. Beautiful.
And I think I just gave her, I think we just gave her like $40. And we just, I don't remember how many we ate, but I was like, here, I gave her 2 20s. And she just kept the tacos coming. I don't know how many we ate. Freaking amazing. No running water, no, it was like a tank water system there. And best street tacos I've ever had. That is where people ask, like, oh, like, why do you go to Mexico? That's why. Why do we go to Mexico over Hawaii? Right there. That lady outside of the Bob Marlin restaurant.
So I didn't go to that exact spot, but one of my greatest taco experiences ever was also in Todos Santos. So stands to reason they've got it figured out over there.
Yes.
Let's see. Lots of thoughts on tacos coming in on the Vancouver Ford fan text line. Best, one person says fish tacos. I think fish tacos can be excellent, although that would not be my number one. It depends on the quality of the fish, grilled or fried. If it's fried, how long has it been sitting? All of that business. Another person here, agreeing with you, carnitas is the GOAT. Someone says, underrated taco meat, octopus. Seriously, try it sometime. I have had pulpo tacos. Delicious.
Yeah.
If you're in a beach town, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had octopus tacos, but in Japan, they have teppanyaki. They do they're octopus fried balls.
Yeah. Oh, that's takoyaki.
Takoyaki.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like little octopus fritter dumplings.
Yeah.
They're so good.
And they sell them all over the place. Like the same thing. Like their version of street tacos.
It's like it might as well be mozzarella sticks or something like that.
And they got a little cream sauce on them with like some
so
cabbage
good.
and rice.
Yeah.
Delightful. But I've never had the octopus taco.
I have, and they're
that one I have
excellent.
not.
Someone here is saying jerk chicken. Yeah, I've had a jerk chicken taco.
Sure.
I think because, granted, you just kind of want a vehicle for your jerk chicken. So I don't think that's the same as getting like a chicken asado taco. But yeah, jerk chicken tacos, I can definitely take down some of those.
Sure. Yeah, and that's what I say. Like, they have their place, but it's so far down the list of other taco options.
I've been teasing it for long enough. We will finally get to something Suk brought up yesterday, piqued my interest. We were talking about memorabilia, collectibles, things that you would hang on to and why it would possibly be important to you. How one man's trash is another man's treasure out in New Jersey. Get that to you next on The Fan.
On 1080, The Fan.
Can I get a hot tub?
Welcome back as we wrap up the club hour. Two things before we get back to taco meat. First, my son is undergoing potty training, and he just went to number 2 in the potty and has requested, or I guess requested through my wife, that he get the song and dance from Daddy, because I do a Daddy dance. And
I just listened to Buck
yeah.
sing a potty song to his kid,
Yeah.
and it was adorable. It was adorable.
Yeah, so I told him, I said, Cannon, I heard that you went poo-poo in the potty just like yesterday. I am so proud of you. Cannon Buckley, potty boy. Cannon Buckley, potty boy. Cannon Buckley, potty boy.
Hell yeah.
And my kid, he dances around and he pumps his fists after he's gone potty like that. So
that whole thing was, I didn't know what was happening. And I just looked over at you.
I just started recording a video, and Sook's like, what
is...
is...
what in the hell? And then I started some sort of weird gyration followed by Cannon Buckley potty boy. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go, potty boy.
Yeah, he's doing it. He's doing really good. I guess a second successful day at daycare in big boy undies. So things are going okay.
I don't remember. I mean, mine's been so long. My youngest is now 19. I don't remember anything about toilet training.
I was going to ask if you remembered like how you did it or how you approached it or whatever, but it feels like it's a much bigger and more talked about deal now. But I know that we tried kind of doing it with him casually. It just didn't take. So.
I know that we went through, obviously some were easier than others, but I couldn't tell you which one of my kids was easy or hard. I don't know. It's not one of those things that I remember, and it's been so long that now I kind of feel like a bad parent. Like, is that something that I should remember?
I don't know. I mean, it's not like it's the most fun thing for the parent, so I think by the time it's done, you just want to forget about it and be like, cool, I'm glad I don't have to change these diapers anymore.
Well, the great Grandma Donna Ortner, if you went to the potty when you were potty training, you got a bag of M&Ms.
Oh, okay. So we have done the treat system with him. Every time he goes number 1, he gets 1 M&M. Every time he goes number 2, he gets 2 M&Ms.
I called out Buck for being a cheap bastard.
Yeah.
I'm like, 1 M&M for
Well, they sit in the jar, and he decides what color he wants. It's like a whole thing.
A handful.
I thought 1 M&M was pretty stingy. And 2 for a dumper, I said the 2 should at least be a peanut.
Yeah, that's true.
Yuck.
I will get to a story that I have been teasing all show. One man's trash is another man's treasure. We talked about collectibles the other day. Everything from baseballs, autographs, dolls, things like that.
Haunted dolls.
This man was literally collecting something that is everybody else's trash. A man by the name of Tyler Guyurison?
Sure.
He's a 22-year-old man from New Jersey who is an Uber driver. He goes to the Wawa every day, the convenience store that also serves food.
Yep.
And he goes every day, multiple times a day, and they have a receipt system that gives you a number anywhere between 1 and 999.
Okay.
And in 3 years, he has collected one of every number receipt.
Why?
He has 1 through 999.
And that's like he's like framing them as some sort of reference work? Like,
he basically said, I mean, there are some things here about the way he describes his decisions and what he decided to do that make you think, oh, maybe that's just, there's a little obsessive compulsive thing going on or something.
There's a spectrum involved here.
But he says, I go there every day. I know the menu. The food is reliable. He goes every morning and gets a coffee. He goes every afternoon and he gets a mac and cheese, and he often goes for dinner as well. So they estimated he goes about 1,400 times a year.
Oh, my God.
He just thought it would be funny at first, and so he started throwing away any that were a duplicate and figuring out where he had the holes. And he said, 90% of the time I'm just throwing it away because it's one that I've already had. But in the course of about 3 years, he collected every Wawa receipt 1 through 999.
This is another one of those things that, let me state for the record, it's kind of impressive that you have the